You are listening to Any Given Sunday, the Monday edition for Monday, August 9th, 2021. I am your host, Manny Brown, joined as always by my co-host, Josh Rodriguez. Josh, what is good?
Manny, what's going on, man? A lot to talk about.
What?
A lot to talk about.
Yes,
Like
a
this
lot,
is a
right?
busy,
A lot, a lot,
It's
a
a busy
lot to
day.
talk about. What's up with you, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. Miami doing some music stuff. I'm gonna have some songs
On
coming out. My
assignment,
boy.
as we like to say,
Yeah,
on
on
assignment.
assignment,
Josh on
baby.
assignment.
That's the
I'm
one
telling
beautiful
you.
thing
I'm
about.
telling you. I'm telling you, we need to have a running gag on the show. Like, where's Josh this week? Like, and just put it on a map somewhere. Like, it's just matter of fact, your background should just be a map.
It really should be, or just like a picture of Carmen Sandiego with my face imposed on it, or something like that.
Facts. Yeah. Listen. We're starting a Patreon page soon, and we're doing some things. So hopefully with the support of you guys, we can make this happen, right? We can make like a nice little graphic in the background. This show blows up, and we can really do this shit. We can really do like some, where in the world is Josh Rodriguez? Like, yeah, let's go.
Like, the crazy thing is, like every week, I swear, like I'm not gonna go anywhere. Like, all right, I'm gonna be in LA for like another 5 months, and then something happens, and I'm out.
And this and like I don't even know. Like, we're co-hosts, we talk like every week, and I don't even know sometimes. Like, literally, like they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you doing a show? Oh yeah, I'm in Afghanistan right now." Like, I was like, "Oh, okay."
Well, a lot of these things in the last minute. Like, I almost went to Vegas yesterday for a summer league, and
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I get it.
And then something happened where like whatever I was supposed to do just ended up falling through, so I didn't go. So like I could be in Vegas right now. Which is
No, I get it, man. That's just the job. That's just the job, man. I get it. I understand it. I totally understand it, man. But how's everything? Your family's good. Everybody's good. Staying healthy. All that good stuff.
Everybody's good. You?
Same. I just talked to my mom. Like, I don't know what this is with Latino parents, but like they always. First of all, they don't call, like, how stuff happens in the family. You want people to like reach out and say like, "Oh yeah, your aunt had this, or your cousin had this." Like, my family, they like, I always find out. I joke with them, like, I always find out about shit like 3 months after the fact. Like, literally, somebody could have had COVID and died, and I find out 3 months after. Like, they had a funeral and everything. Like, "Oh yeah, we just buried your uncle. Wait, he died? Wait, like what?" Like, that's how I feel. Like, so
that's a Latino thing. That's everybody, because that's my
true.
Too.
Yeah. But it's like, no, because I'm like literally having a conversation with my mom, and she's just like telling me, "Oh yeah, your aunt had to go in. They, she had a CT scan. They, they possibly could have a tumor." But I'm like, what the fuck? Like, she just went in the hospital, came like, "Oh yeah, that was last week. Oh, my little cousin had or my little nephew had COVID, and then his grandmother and granddad got, and they're older, and they had it, and them two were both in the hospital." Like, what the fuck? Like, no one tells me anything.
Yeah, I don't get that.
And then my mom, and then my mom's like, "Oh well, you don't call us." Oh, I'm sorry, I don't call you, Mom, every day, like at the same time, waiting for you to dish out information. Like, I'm sorry.
And you're supposed to call. Like, when news happens, she's supposed to reach out to you. Like, "Oh, this is what happened, man." She can't wait for you to call and then ask about something that happened that you don't even know.
Right?
Happened.
Like, that's how I thought this relationship worked. Like, I thought, yeah, no. I apparently I've gotten this wrong.
Oh man.
apparently, man. Oh man, but let's get started. It's been well, and folks, first of all, I to tell some folks, so some folks actually hit me up last week, like, "Where's the show?" Listen, we're on our summer schedule here, okay?
Yes.
We're on our summer, yeah. So we're gonna do a couple more shows in August, and there might be every other week in between. We're on our summer schedule. We're not gonna go back to our regular full throttle schedule until September, until the NFL season starts. So just putting that out there. It's just we usually would take a hiatus, but since we just started this new format, we didn't want to take a hiatus. So we're just doing every other week for now. It's okay, just 1 month. It's crazy to think that we're in August. Yeah, but we still love y'all. So we'll be back to every Sunday in September. Start of the NFL season, ready to rock and roll. So chill out if there's not a show every Sunday. Just gotta put that out there. Relax. Yeah, in the words of Aaron Rodgers, relax. You're like, apparently Aaron Rodgers went back to his like decrepit, awful, stupid, team that he hates the GM and the owner, and he has no wide receivers and no tight ends.
An awful squad that only made the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, that team that went 26-6 over the last 2 years and two AFC Championship games. But apparently I heard that he went to DC, picked up his Presidential Medal of Freedom and his Purple Heart, and now is just on the way back to Packers training camp. So he's
what a brave man. What a brave man.
Brave man. Him and Dame. Brave men.
Don't start that name, bro. I texted Manny last week. Before we didn't know we were gonna have a show, but I texted Manny last week about the Dame situation. If anybody wants to know our takes on Dame, you can it's in our video archive, so you can check it out. I was like, yo, you were right about Dame. You were right about Dame.
Listen, man, I've been watching this thing called sports for a long time, man. It's hard to bullshit me, man. It's hard to really like get me to a point where you like, I feel like you're bullshitting me. Like Dame's just be honest, man. Just be honest. Like just say you want out, man. That's it. That's all I want, man. I just want these athletes to just be accountable and be honest, man. That's all. That's all I ask for. All right, not enough pot shots because I've got my own issues to deal with. Where do we start, man? We start with the verses or we start with the Mets? We got to start with the Mets, right? We got to start with
this is a therapy session, man. You need to let it out.
Oh man,
you need to let it out, man. Because I've been following you on Twitter. Obviously, I've always followed you on Twitter, but like you've been popping up on my Twitter timeline. It's like a heart attack every other tweet.
It's a constant.
Like you just cursing someone new out. It's crazy
because yeah, the Mets and the Jets. This is the only teams that really bring this out of me. It really does. Like I'm much calmer for Lakers and Duke and Nebraska football, or like I'm much calmer for the Rangers. I'm much calmer for these things, but you know, the Mets and the Jets for obvious reasons, right? It just bring it out of me. Just bring it out of me, man. Where do I start? Oh my God!
Can I tee you up? I'll tee you up.
Sure, go ahead. Tee me up. So
the Mets have been in first place all season. For those of you who have been watching baseball, pretty much all season. They have not been in second place since like May. I think it's been. I'm not sure.
Yeah, since May 8th, around that. From May 8th to last Friday, which was what, the 6th. Yeah, the Mets were in third place. So that was like about 90 something days.
So they are on this I wouldn't say losing, but they're on a losing streak because they have lost consecutive games, but it's not like they lost like 12 in a row. But you know, they've just been losing lately, and DeGrom's on the IR. So is Syndergaard. You know, pitching staff's not there. Just acquired Baez, who, you know, hits a home run in his first game, but outside of that, I really, from what I know, haven't been doing much. And you know, it just turns out that they had this series with the Philadelphia Phillies over the weekend, who pretty much caught them, who came from behind in the NL East. And there was a series this weekend, New York Mets, Philadelphia Phillies, to decide first place in the NL East. And to my understanding, the Mets got swept, right?
Yes, we got swept. We're 1-6 in our last 7 games. Yes, we're 1-6. We lost a 4-game series to the Marlins where we only won 1 game, to the lowly Marlins, by the way. And then against the Phillies. And you know what bothers me the most about this whole situation is that it's not like we're in a division where we're battling this like juggernaut in the Rays, or we're battling the White Sox, or we're battling the Houston Astros. The fucking Phillies, like really, that team is not that good. That's what bothers me. It's like they're not even that good. Like they're literally not even that good. Like honestly, like even now we're more talented than the Phillies, but we're just playing terribly. Like our pitching staff has cratered. Yeah. You know, our offense is like literally the offense is just a joke. It's a joke. Me and you could literally be a more productive offense than what the Mets put out this past week.
I'm a pretty good leadoff hitter. I'm probably better than Lindor right now. Howard says the problem with the Mets is they're way too streaky. Way too streaky, says Howard. Comment on YouTube.
Yeah, streaky. Streaky is an understatement. The Mets are way too much of anything right now. They're just too. They're too shitty. They're too inconsistent. They are too streaky. No, honestly, I wouldn't even say they're too streaky. I mean, this has been an all season thing. It's not even the offense has been bad this entire year. And it was something that you could stomach because the Mets were in first place. They were playing well, even with the injuries. You know, the famed bench mob came in and they didn't skip a beat. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. You know, now the pitching has kind of fallen back a little bit because of the DeGrom injury. And, you know, Taijuan Walker completely has fallen off a cliff. And, you know, Stroman, I like Stroman. I like his personality. I like what he brings to the team. He's a bulldog. He's a leader. But he's a 5-inning pitcher, you know, and it's like you can't. You know, first of all, you can't be a bulldog and you're only going to pitch 5 innings. Number one, let's just start there. And then number 2 is just like, again, Taijuan Walker's falling off the cliff. You know, Carlos Carrasco had basically missed the first half of the season with the hamstring injury in there, so they're slowly working him back in. Obviously, DeGrom has had setback after setback after setback. Who the hell even knows? Like, I'm honestly thinking we're not even going to see DeGrom the rest of this year. You know, maybe the last few weeks of last couple weeks of September, maybe if we're being it's the Mets, so I'll never be optimistic. So we'll probably won't see DeGrom the rest of the year. And then Lindor's been out. I will say this. I think that Lindor being out was the one injury the Mets could not sustain. Even DeGrom has been out. The pitching has still been, for the most part, okay. Besides Taijuan Walker, everybody else has pitched fairly well. Stroman's pitched okay. We had this kid Tyler McGill who came up and has been a godsend until his last 2 starts. So the pitching has sustained itself. The bullpen, for the most part, outside of Edwin Diaz, who's terrible, has sustained itself. He's still bad. Yeah, that's the other thing with Edwin Diaz, right? That's the other thing with Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz kills me because all the stats look great. He's got his whip, his strikeouts per 9, like all these other things, right? But then it's like anybody who's real with themselves, watch Edwin Diaz pitch. Would you trust that guy with your life? Would you trust that guy with your kids?
Every time I see Edwin Diaz pitch, I'm not a Met fan, but every time I see Edwin Diaz pitch, like he blows the lead. And this is like 2 years ago when he first joined them, when they acquired him for the Mariners, and he was like a big free agent acquisition, or whatnot. Yeah. He was supposed to be like this godsend closer.
Big trade acquisition. Yeah.
Fuse a trade.
Who we traded our basically our number 1 or number 2 prospect for. And that's although he's not playing that well in Seattle anyway, but still, it still hurts that you basically gave up this young, potentially great player in Jared Kelenic for Robinson Cano, who's popped for PD, so he's gone all year and basically he's never going to play again for the Mets, and Edwin Diaz, who makes Armando Benitez look like Mariano Rivera. I shit you not, literally. Like, I have more faith in Armando Benitez.
That's sad. Howard to get the best thing is that they came out and said Rojas' job is safe. Like, what? The dude has been in first since May, and now you want him fired.
Listen, I can't even blame Rojas. Like, look, is he Joe Torre out there? No. Is he Lou Piniella out there? No. Is he Miller Huggins? No. But I can't even blame Rojas. Like, and I'm not even a big fan of Rojas, but I can't blame him. This team, it just looks so lifeless. I mean, the approach, bro, this weekend, bro, the at bats were terrible. Grounding into double plays. We got the runner in scoring position thing is. I've just never seen it where a team is just so bad with runners in scoring position. It literally is a joke. Like, bro, just be thankful you don't have to watch this shit. Like, it's so infuriating. Infuriating.
Since Chili Davis was gone, that problem be fixed.
Oh, don't get me started on Chili Davis. you fire Chili Davis. Oh, Chili Davis he's this old school guy, antiquated approach. We want to bring in the new analytical approach and all that. How's that working out? They're worse. They're worse. They are worse than they ever were under Chili Davis.
Chili's gone. I thought it was fixed.
I thought the problem was fixed. It was all Chili Davis's fault. It wasn't hitters' inconsistencies or approach. No, it's all Chili Davis. Blame Chili Davis. You fired Chili Davis basically a month into the season, bringing this stiff Quattlebaum, whatever the fuck his name is. Like, you bring this guy in, and it's like they've literally gotten worse. And that's the frustrating thing. It's like if it was subpar players or below average players, you could make the case, okay, it is what it is. They're playing up to their talent level. But Dom Smith is better than this. Jeff McNeil's better than this. Michael Conforto, I don't know what the fuck is going on with Michael Conforto. Like, he looks.
I thought he had his swing was like the most beautiful thing since
beautiful swing, but but he's the king. He's the king of the fly ball. That's all he does. It's just the king of the fly ball right there. He's just another fly ball to the right fielder. No, Michael Conforto. Listen, between Dennis Schroeder and Michael Conforto at the end of this year, we're going to be having an honest conversation about who really fumbled the bag worse, Michael Conforto or Dennis Schroeder.
Jeez, Dennis Schroeder did. I'm sorry, because Dennis Schroeder was at least offered something.
Hey,
listen,
there were talks about Michael Conforto wanting $200 million. Listen, all I will say is to Michael Conforto, you better take the qualifying offer.
But was he?
No, he wasn't offered. He wasn't offered.
Dennis Schroeder was offered $86 million and does not have a team right now.
Whew, man, listen, you got to fire your agent after that one. Listen, you got to fire your agent. That's a fireable offense right there. But
let me ask you about Pete Alonso and his quote after the game.
Listen,
you gotta believe, right?
I get what he was trying to do there. I get what he was trying to do, but I think the problem with Pete Alonso and the problem with a lot of just athletes in general is, especially in the Northeast, is like these athletes. I get why they're wired the way that they are because. Especially in baseball, it's an everyday thing. It's different than basketball. The Lakers lose a tough game. LeBron's going to be pissed off after the game. He's going to have to play, Thursday. Like, so you get a couple days to kind of let it, whatever. Baseball, it's
Right.
an everyday thing. So, you have to almost have a short memory in that regard because you're back out there tomorrow. You're back out there 2 nights from now. You know what I mean? That being said, you go 1-6 in your last 7 games. I forget I think they're like, I don't remember the record off the top of my head, but they have a below 500 record since the All-Star break. They've been struggling. The injuries have really started to catch up with them. And you give a quote like that to the media after you basically get swept by your rival and you do nothing offensively. Like, you literally do nothing offensively. Nothing. I mean, Pete Alonso, who came up to the plate on Saturday night, 5-3, 2 guys on, and you struck out on 3 straight pitches. Like, I'm sorry, I can't hear about you got to believe statements and,
Right.
just believe, but not just believe. No, just no. Like, no what, motherfucker? No. You know what I do know? You guys are terrible runners in score position. That's what I do know. I know that. Let's start there. I know that. Jesus, like, it's mind-boggling. And then what pisses me off is, and it's not just the players, it's the organization. Also coming off a week where we basically tried to, we fumbled it royally with Kumar Rocker.
Oh, let's get into that, please.
Oh my God.
What happened?
First of all, the Mets tried to get to.
What happened? What happened?
First of all, 9 other teams passed on Kumar Rocker because they thought they had concerns with his elbows, right? With his elbow. The Mets went up there, sprinted up to the podium to draft him. And then when it comes time to sign him, he's got. The Mets didn't find out anything new that anybody else. I'm going to tell you the first thing. First of all, Stanley Alderson does not like Scott Boras, which is Kumar Rocker's agent. So already there's an animosity there. Number one. Number two, the Mets tried to get cute. The Mets tried to get cute because they felt like, oh, okay, look, we're going to lowball this guy. We're going to offer him below slot. He's going to have to take it, or we're going to win anyway because he can't go to college and he's not going to go back and he's not going to go play in the independent league. And we get a pick of similar value the next year. So the way it works is, if you can't get your pick, you have a deadline to sign. Let's say Josh Rodriguez is the 10th pick by the Mets. So you have a month basically to sign that pick to come to some sort of agreement. If you can't work out the agreement, per CBA, then the Mets get compensated with a pick in the next year's draft of equal value. So the Mets next year get an 11th pick in the draft, right? So now the Mets next year have 2 first-round picks. So the Mets tried to get cute. The Mets tried to say, okay, well, we can't sign him because he's got issues and we're not going to offer him, what he wants. I think there was a difference of $6 million basically. So the Mets didn't want to give him the extra $6 million that he wanted. So they didn't sign him. And they knew they basically had all the leverage because if they don't sign him, they have that extra pick in the bag. So they could say, okay, well, we just struck out on Kumar Rocker. We'll just get an extra pick next year and we're Gucci. They tried to get too cute. And it blew up in their face. And all the public opinion is shitting on the Mets. They just, oh my God, I can't believe it. Listen, I'm sure that there are issues with Kumar Rocker's elbow, and I get the concern, but that's a generational talent that you have right there. You've got to do whatever it takes to get him signed. And plus, let's say he does need Tommy John. Every fucking pitcher that you get now basically needs Tommy John. So what are you doing? You're equivaling over $6 million? Like, seriously? Like, what? Who let Jeff Wilpon back in the building?
That's why you got your new. That's why you were excited about the new owner, because $6 million is just whatever.
Oh, and listen, I like Steve Cohen, but Steve Cohen needs to shut the hell up. First of all, he goes on Twitter and basically likes to lecture Mets fans about positivity and positive energy. Shut the fuck up. This isn't a stock. This isn't stock advice. This isn't I don't need hedge fund advice. This is a baseball team. I have to watch this shit every night. Pay my hard-earned money. I pay MLB.TV. Literally paying $100 a year for this crap. And these guys can't hit. Like, this is the craziest shit ever. Like, it cannot hit. It is infuriating. We can't listen. We got Ranger Suarez out there who's a closer starting. Who they've converted to a starter. We can't get him out. We can't touch him. We've got Kyle Gibson, the immortal Kyle Gibson, who the Twins and the Rangers and all these teams, he's been a sniff forever. He's an all-star this year, give him credit. But Kyle Gibson, the immortal Kyle Gibson, who's giving them the game on a platter. Can't touch Kyle Gibson. No. Oh, God. But I got Pete Alonso telling me I need to believe. And not just believe, know that they're going to get it done. And then, of course, after the game, you got Luis Rojas, too. Oh, well, these guys are doing. Like, stop. Enough with the quotes. Listen, everybody out there who thinks I'm being irrational, Go look up Terry Collins. That's what the fuck Met fans want to hear. And I'm not even a big Terry Collins fan. I have my issues with Terry Collins, Lord knows. But that's the thing I never ever shitted on Terry Collins about. That guy understood it. He got it. He understood the assignment of being a coach, a manager, whatever. Sometimes you just gotta flip a table over. You gotta tear some shit up. And I don't even say for performative reasons. Like, you gotta get angry. And even in a press conference, you gotta get angry. You gotta fire that team up, man. Like this, that's the part as a fan that's very frustrating, is that they look lifeless. They look like they quit. Like yesterday against Wheeler, they just looked like they had no answer. They just knew they were beat from the first inning on. They just knew. And that is the disconcerting part. That's the part that really frustrates you. That just like, this team just really, really just gave up, because it's just like they didn't even put forth the effort to try to battle, hang in there. If we lose 2-0 or we lose 3-0, but you put good bats together, you get Wheeler out of the game in the 6th inning or something like that, I'm still upset, but at least I live and say, okay, look, right. They put at bats together, but they didn't. And then I forgot who else. I think Pete Alonso said we're hitting into hard luck. No, you're not. You're not making contact. You're not making contact. It's not like you're hitting rockets and they're getting caught at the warning track. You're not making contact, Pete. I sometimes I wonder what these baseball players, are they like? And they all regurgitate the same thing. Oh, we got to keep grinding. We got to keep grinding. We got to keep grinding. If this is grinding, then y'all need some WD-40 or some shit. Like them gears is terrible. Like that shit is. Y'all need some work bad. It's just bad, man. It's just frustrating. I don't want to make this a rant in a bitch session, but
I'll be honest with you, man. I didn't even know they were in third. I thought they were in. I just looked at the standings.
They're in third place. They literally went from first place to third place. The Braves are missing half their team, and that's another thing too. That's the other thing that pisses me off. Right at the deadline, everybody said the Mets. Well, a lot of people said the Mets needed. There was kind of a split amongst Mets fandom. A lot of people wanted Chris Bryant because they obviously the offense, but I kept saying it. I want another. I like the Javi Baez pick, although Javi Baez, my God, Jesus Christ, Javi Baez just. I think I tweeted this on Saturday. Javi Baez just goes up to the plate, no approach, just vibes, literally just vibes, no approach. It's just like he's just up there, and it's like, yep, I'm gonna get a hit, I'm gonna hit a home run, or I'm gonna strike out. That's just vibes.
It works out sometimes, and sometimes
it just works out sometimes. I like Javi. I like the fire he brings. I love the passion he brings. But goddamn, Javi, bring some approach. Work a walk for time to time. Something. Hilarious. Jeez, I mean, he struck out on some pitches that literally you're just like how, why? Like, what did you see there? Like, what? Like, what was the?
It's like he already thinks he knows I'm swinging at this pitch. Like, there are some players sometimes I'm like, I'm going to swing at this pitch no matter what, wherever it's at.
Yeah, and that's literally what he is. That's honestly I honestly think it's more impressive that a guy like Javi Baez is as successful and as great of a player as he is, with the obvious warts in his swing that he has.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy for Mike Trout because he's such a disciplined hitter, right? But it's like Javi Baez, the fact that you've been able to have the career that you have, the fact that you were almost won an MVP a couple years ago, that you've hit 40 home run, close to 40 home runs in a season, all these other things. Like, and just be like, why would anybody pitch to this guy? Why would anybody pitch to him?
Just throw it in the dirt.
Like, literally, he's going to help you. He is going to make your job easier. You don't have to give him anything to hit. But I was going to the deadline. Like, I was happy with the Baez pick, because when Javi is on, that's the thing about Javi. I know the comment says the Mets are streaky, but he is the epitome of the Mets. Like, he is a streaky as can be player. Like, Javi's a guy that for 6 weeks he can carry you. He can hit 30 home runs and carry you in 6 weeks. Like, that's what he can do. And then he goes on, and then he goes in a slump for 6 weeks, and you just think he's just the worst player in baseball. Like, that's how Javi Baez is. But Javi Baez is when he's on, he's an incredible talent. So and plus what we had to give up to get him wasn't much, right?
Yeah.
The issue was that we didn't go out and reinforce this pitching staff. I said it. The Mets need more pitchers. They need a couple arms. Rich Hill can't be the only pitcher you're bringing in. Rich Hill's 41, and he's a 5-inning pitcher. You already got a lot of guys on this team already. Stroman's another one, 5-inning pitcher. Why are you going to bring in Rich Hill, who's another 5-inning pitcher? You need some innings eaters. Like, you need some guys. Like, look, I get that they weren't going to get Barrios. The price was going to be too much for that. What the Blue Jays gave up to get Barrios. I get it, but Jesus Christ. So you weren't going to get Barrios. You weren't going to get Scherzer. Scherzer wasn't coming here. That was done. But you could have gotten a Tyler Anderson. You could have gotten somebody else out there. You could have gotten you could have gotten a John Lester. You could have gotten a couple of guys that could have at least, get it to a guys. And I know it's unfair because DeGrom hadn't suffered that setback that he just recently suffered till after the deadline. So it's easy to say that now in hindsight. Obviously, they didn't know that DeGrom was going to be shut down again. That being said, I think you needed to at least get another pitcher. I said it. I think they need another pitcher, maybe two in the rotation. And I think they desperately need another arm in that bullpen. And they didn't get either. And now and that's the thing. There is no waiver wire deadline like there used to be in years prior. They got rid of that. So so this is it. Like, this is your team. I mean, maybe you can get some guy off of waivers, call a guy up and catch lightning in the buyer, sign some guy in free agency that's hasn't latched on, but that's pretty much it. Like, this is the team. So if DeGrom doesn't, Syndergaard is just now throwing to live batters off a mound. So he still hasn't even started a rehab start. So who knows with Syndergaard? We probably won't even see Syndergaard this year. I don't know. You probably will, but it'll probably be September, but who knows? Lindor is still fighting his way back from the oblique. He might start a rehab assignment next week. So who knows? We'll definitely get Lindor back, but it might be too late. It probably won't, just because this division is so bad and it's so
hover around 500, man. Stay around 500.
The issue that I have with the Mets, and the issues that I have being positive with the Mets right now, is like, it's just hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel because where are the reinforcements coming? Right. DeGrom, is he going to be healthy? I don't know. Is Syndergaard? Who the hell knows? I can't count on Syndergaard. Who the hell knows? He hasn't pitched in a year and a half. So I don't know what to expect from Syndergaard even when he's out there. He's not going to give you 5-6 innings from the start. At best he's probably going to be 3 to 4 innings and work his way in slowly. Carrasco is going to be stretched out eventually, so eventually he'll be in a position to give you innings, but not right now. They have nobody in the system. They got the kid Trevor Williams from Chicago that they have at AAA. Maybe he can come and provide a spark. Maybe that's kind of the only ace you have left. Other than that, I don't know. Unless you're just going to really just say, you know what, fuck it, just throw something against the wall and see if it sticks, and bring a kid up from AA or bring a kid up from high A and just say, that's the other thing too. It's like, why don't you tap into the minors? We got some young bats in the minors and in AA. Like, bring them up. See if they spark the team. I remember in 2015, Conforto came up and he played well for a couple of weeks and sparked. He helped spark the team. It wasn't just Conforto. It was Cespedes and Kelly Johnson and Uribe. But Conforto was a part of it. But Conforto was two home run in the World Series. Yeah. Bring Brett Beatty up. Bring Mark Vientos up. They can't be any worse than J.D. Davis and Jonathan Villar. They can't.
J.D. Davis is still on the team.
Listen, I was wrong about JD Davis. 2019, he broke out. He had a great 3.5 months in 2019. I thought, oh my God, this guy's going to be legit. I had the same concerns. He doesn't really have a position, and he's been awful since then. He has his moments. JD Davis has his JD Davis is the ultimate cock tease, right? Because he'll have a 3 or 4 game stretch where he just hits bombs, and he's the right-handed Lucas Duda. It's exactly what he is. At least Lucas Duda had a position. He played first base. Like JD Davis, he's not a third baseman. Pretty much not a first base. He's not an outfielder. He's pretty much a first base / DH kind of guy. He needs to latch onto an American League team. His best suited role. But JD Davis is a guy that gets hot for a couple days, and you think, oh my God, this guy's going to do it for you for a long stretch, and he's not that guy. JD Davis is better as a platoon player. Put a left-handed bat with him, and you just let him punish left-handed pitching. But yeah, listen, we got problems, man. I don't want to make this woe it's us too much, because like I said, there's still 51 games, and that's the other thing too, the schedule. The other thing that people don't talk about, this streak of Mets first place, this 90-day streak, our schedule was shit. Like, we didn't play anybody. We got really lucky. We also had a lot of rainouts. So we had a lot of 7-inning doubleheaders, so that actually helped. So we didn't really play anybody. Now the schedule, you've got basically for the next 2 weeks, you've got Dodgers, Giants, and then you got a series with the Brewers. That's 3 of the best teams in the National League.
Oh my God.
They got a road trip where they're going to LA and San Francisco back to back. Like, that's death.
There. Maybe I'll catch him.
Yeah. They'll be in last place by then, but don't worry. Jesus Christ. So yeah, the schedule picks up. Now listen, it's baseball. Anything can happen. Watch the Mets now. Everybody's counting them off. They'll find a way to play up to the Dodgers and play well and win a couple games in that series, because that's just baseball, right?
That's what they do.
But that's what they do. But yeah, honestly, the schedule, the schedule gets tough. It gets really tough, and that's what I think a lot of Met fans are kind of doom and gloom today. Is because you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel with the reinforcements and the schedule. The schedule is murderous, man. I mean, you've got the Giants, the Dodgers. The Giants not so much because I don't really believe in the Giants pitching, but you got to give them credit. They have the best record in the National League for a reason, so you got to give them the credit. And the Dodgers are the Dodgers. I mean, so yeah, and then the Brewers can't be ignored either. The Brewers are a solid team. So yeah, man, I don't know.
Well, listen, man, I'm glad you got it off of your chest. That was a full therapy session.
Yeah. That was that was a
full half-hour session.
That was a I sound like an overnight guy at WFAN, man. Like
that's your demo right there, man. We're gonna send that into WFAN.
For sure. No, it's just frustrating, man. It's just frustrating because it's like the season started off with so much excitement and buzz, and rightfully so. And it's just like it feels like over the last 2 weeks, really since July, since the calendar turned to July, the Mets have really just struggled. They had that series before the break against the Pirates where they lost that game, that Sunday game where Familia imploded. And then of course coming out of the break, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Pirates, and then you kind of felt like they were getting it back on track. They won a good series against the Reds. They played well against the Blue Jays. They played well against the Blue Jays. You felt like they were getting it on track, and then over this last week, I mean, you can't lose 3 out of 4 to the Marlins. You just can't. I'm sorry.
That was what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, like, because you mentioned their schedule coming up, that was really tough. I was like, I just saw them lose 3 out of 14 to a AAA ball club, bro. I went to a Yankee Marlins game. I'm down in Miami. I went to a Yankee Marlins game, and I looked at on the scoreboard it shows you all the players in the lineup there. Yeah. I was like, I don't know anybody on the Marlins. And listen, I don't watch baseball as much as I used to, so that has a lot to do with it. But at the same time, you'd think I recognize at least 1 or 2 players. I didn't recognize anybody, and I'm like, oh well, it's August, so this is probably a lot of call ups or the beginning of the call up season. And yeah, they're probably playing a AAA team right now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Now the Marlins are one of those sneaky teams because they have pitching. That's the one thing about the Marlins. They have a really good pitching staff. So that's honestly the team you don't want to face in these kind of situations because they, anytime you have pitching, you're in the fight. You have a chance. If your pitcher could keep it close for 6 innings and you just hope and pray that you're running up against a cold team, you could probably sneak a couple wins out of it. So the Marlins are not a great foil in this regard. You'd rather play a team like the Nationals. You'd rather play a Rockies team or something like that. Not the Marlins, who have great pitching. But yeah, you can't lose 3 out of 4. I mean, Lewis Brinson, who's done nothing his entire career. He's been a bust of a prospect. Lewis Brinson is hitting grand slams in the first inning. I mean, this is the shit that I've been watching for the last week. It's like, really? Seriously? Seriously. Oh my god, man!
Nice ballpark though. It's a lot cooler than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be a mess, but I went there and I was like, oh, it's pretty cool.
God bless them. God bless the Marlins. They still exist for a reason. For reasons. God bless them. God bless them.
The New York Giants of the MLB.
Shout out to yes. Oh, so many Giants fans get pissed off when I said that. So many Giants fans get so pissed off when I say that, man. Oh my god, they get in their feelings so bad, bro. Like it's not even funny. It's not even but yeah. Listen, Mets fans, I wish I could be a beacon of hope and positivity, as Pete would like us to be, or our great owner Stephen Cohen, as he gives off his hedge fund advice. I wish I could be, this beacon of positivity, but I can't be right now, man. I mean, we played and that's the thing. Honestly, the schedule, all that. The thing that's most concerning is the fact that the offense just has not gotten better. And at some point, you just have to tell yourself, listen, this is what we are. We are who we are. Shout out Denny Green, RIP Denny Green. Like, we are who we are. We are who we are. You are what your record says you are. That was Bill Parcells, I think. Bill Parcells said that. You are what your record. You are what your record says that you are. And right now, we're barely a 500 team, and our offense is shit. That's what we are. Like, we can't keep using the excuse, oh, it's early, these guys are going to perform. Are they? I don't know. Conforto might just be bad this year, and we just have to accept that. And that's the thing. That's the thing about it. Like, what I want to see most of Luis Rojas will show me something if he shakes it up. Listen, tell Conforto, dude, I'm sorry. You're now in a platoon situation, Brandon Jury. Like,
Yeah.
I can't throw you out there every night and you're just flailing at pitches. Same thing with JD Davis. Again, bring up Mark Vientos. Just do it for a couple weeks. See what you get with the kid. Maybe you catch lightning in a bottle. He gets hot. He sparks the team. Stranger things have happened. You know, like it can happen. Just do something. That's what Met fans want to see. When your team is struggling like this, you want to see something done. That's the biggest thing. You want it. I promise you, I'm gonna lose my shit tomorrow if there's just no changes. Literally the same lineup that we rolled out there for Philly, like tomorrow. Okay, guys, let's go get them against the Nationals. Like, no, like you gotta somebody make a change. And sometimes you got to make a change for the sake of making a change. Sometimes you just have to say, you know what, for a couple days, I'm going to play a couple guys and see what happens. See if I can spark the team.
Well, Manny, I mean, I'm sure I'll be on Twitter and I'll get all the updates I need.
Mind you, Josh is a Yankee fan, so, you know. Hey.
I'm talking about two teams going in opposite directions. I mean, the Yankees, they're injured as hell. I know a lot of people are on the COVID list right now. I think it's been like 15 players that have, been on the DL.
Yeah, they've got, it's one thing, it's another with the Yankees. It's the whole COVID has kicked you guys' ass this year.
Yeah.
Anthony Rizzo's now Anthony Rizzo, who was a godsend for you guys. Now he's on the list with COVID.
Oh, he's getting in Monument Park already. He's already.
Oh yeah. He's a Yankee for life. He's a Yankee for life now, apparently. Yeah, no, the Yankees have really turned it around. They're in a tough division and they're in a tough wild card race too, because you got the A's, you got the Red Sox, you got the Rays, you've got the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays are the X factor. I really do. I think that team is scary if they figure it out. And the George Springer's getting hot. I think the Blue Jays are an X factor. I really do. And the other thing about the Yankees, like, I still don't love you guys' pitching. Like, the Yankees pitching did not. So, everybody's gaga about Rizzo and Gallo. Yay, they finally got left-handed hitting. But the whole left-handed hitting in Yankee Stadium thing, I get it. Statistically, they do need left-handed hitting in that ballpark, but I feel like it's a little bit too overblown. Like, the reason that the Yankees were.
But then I see Joey Gallo hit a pop-up to right field, and it ends up being a game-winning home run. And I'm like, oh, well, that's
no, I get it. No, listen, it's one of those things that gets overblown though. Like the Yankees didn't lose in 2017 because they didn't have left-handed hitting. The Yankees haven't struggled this past year because they didn't have left-handed hitting. The Yankees struggled this year because they have. They're just poorly constructed. That's the issue with the Yankees.
Like, they don't put the bat. Their lineup doesn't. You got to put the bat on the ball. Like teams.
Yeah, they're an all or nothing team. They're an all or nothing team. Yeah, and they're poorly constructed.
Yeah, they are. Good pitching, and you just put the ball in play. Like teams like the Rays last year, like the Giants when they were winning World Series. It was just, just put the ball in play and see what happens. You got to put the ball in play.
Yeah. And the Mets are like this too. The Mets are like this too. The Mets are somewhat poorly constructed too. But, the Yankees, the Yankees basically have 7 guys that are the same. Gary Sanchez, Giancarlo, Aaron Judge. Now you have the left-handed version of those 2 guys. And Anthony, it's a little strong with Anthony Rizzo because Anthony Rizzo's whatever. But Joey Gallo's basically a left-handed Aaron Judge. It's like essentially what he is. Not as good, but not as consistent, but he's basically a left-handed Aaron Judge. Like, they have so many of the same guys that, they're just a poorly constructed team.
Yeah. And the only guy I trust really situationally or just to put the bat in the ball is really LeMahieu.
Yeah. And he hasn't even had that great of a season.
Exactly. So it's just.
But I think the issue with the Yankees is going to come down to the pitching staff. I just don't believe the Yankees have enough pitching. They probably have enough pitching to maybe sneak into the wild card, but I don't think they have enough to do anything else. The rotation, Jameson, Tyon, Herman's now hurt, I think, or on COVID list. Yeah, I just don't love their pitching outside of Cole, and their bullpen is not as good. Their bullpen's not as good. It's not as deep.
Bullpen's an awful.
Yeah. Chapman's better at beating women than he is getting big outs now at this point. But yeah. That's another thing. I go back to the Mets real quick. Well, I promise we'll shift gears now.
Okay.
Like. Fucking Odubel Herrera hits a big ass home run against the Mets. Fucking sick to my stomach. It's fucking wife beater over here, and he's fucking hitting mammoth shots in that stupid little ballpark in Philly. Literally, you think it's bad in Yankee Stadium? Like, Philly is just embarrassing.
I've been
like, that's embarrassing. That ballpark. That's like a little league park. Literally. Gotta watch Odubel Herrera of all people hitting power bombs in Philly.
Drive left field. Oh wait, no, it's gone. It's gone. Thought that was a single.
Oh my god. Oh Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Oh man. Anyway, listen, I did a segment on MLB Bro today. Like, are the Mets cursed? I'm like, yes, they are. They've been cursed. They've been cursed my whole life for sure.
Tell Rob to cut that one up, man.
The best team money combined in the early 90s with Bobby Bonilla, the late 90s Mets,
Right.
Kenny Rogers of all people walks in the winning run against the Braves in Atlanta. We've just been cursed. Listen, I don't know what we did to win in 86. Like, I don't know if we just did some like real high level Santeria type shit. Like we blood sacrifice or some shit. I don't know what the hell we did, but we're still paying for it. Like enough.
2015 was cool though. That 2015 team was fun. That 2015 team.
It was fun, but look at how it ended. True. Matt Harvey. Look at how it ended.
Sprinting out to the mound and then fucking blowing it.
I love you're getting so much enjoyment.
Because that's a microcosm of his career. Like that start is a microcosm of his career.
That was the peak.
Yeah.
That was the peak.
That was
it. That was just literally that's it. And that's the saddest part, man, is that guy. Look, I know he was a douche and all, but that's the talent that guy had. When that guy was at his best,
unreal.
There was an electricity with him, and
I agree.
It's just
Harvey Day was real.
It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. Like honestly, we beat him up pretty bad twice. The 2 times we played him this year against the Orioles, and it's just sad to watch the shell of what he is.
That's how I felt about Jabba. He wasn't as good as Matt, but the hype was there.
Yeah, the hype was there, and then you just watch these guys that had so much potential at one point, and they're just like, it's not even. It's like, are these even the same people?
Right.
Much
Jabba, they messed him up with the Jabba rules. That was
that the Yankees did that, but with
Harvey's got hurt. He got hurt.
Harvey he got hurt. He had a really serious injury, so
he got hurt.
It just happens. But
just picture Terry Collins throwing shit in the dugout after Harvey. I know it's painful memory for you. That's a painful memory for you. But like that's
oh my god,
just Matt because Terry wanted to take him out, and I have a theory that Familia would have blown the game anyway.
No, that's the other thing about it too. Yeah. Familia kind of got a bad rap in that postseason, but he was great all the way up into the World Series. Game 1 with the quick pitch.
If you get a Familia that like is what you thought he would be, or that closer, like the Mets. That
listen, I trust Familia more than Edwin Diaz.
Yeah, absolutely. But that was a 5-game series. That series was a lot closer than just like you think 5-game series. You think 4-1. Oh,
we had a lead.
Game 1, the Mets could have won.
Yep. We could have won game. We won game 3. We should have won game 4, and we should have won game 5.
Exactly.
And then you have DeGrom and Syndergaard game 6 and 7.
Come on.
Nothing will ever sting worse than 2006 though.
Oh yeah. Beltran not even putting the bat off his shoulders.
I still have nightmares about that.
If there was any play that for me was like divine intervention, was Endy Chavez. After that, I'm like, oh, they win in the World Series. Like you can't tell me after that play, like you can't tell me anything different. Bro, this is a team of destiny.
I can 2 times I can recall as an adult, grown ass man that I've cried that hasn't been like loss or happiness of my kids being born, marriage, whatever. Like it's like the Jets in 2011 AFC Championship game, losing that game to Pittsburgh,
right?
And 2006 the Cardinals. Like the little tears of anger, like just flowing down my face because like we were the best team by far that year.
You were,
and
that was the
Jeff Suppan and the Cardinals team who barely won 83 games beat us.
And what's crazy about that too is like the 2 following years, it's like the team forgot how to perform in clutch situations. It's like game set off like a domino effect where the Mets just like collapsed.
Well, that's why I feel I get into these arguments sometimes because people think I'm very superstitious when it comes to sports, but I believe in karma. I believe in gods, sports gods, and I feel like sometimes when you have those franchise defining losses, it takes a long time to recover from it. I think the Falcons are going through it now. When you
it's like you forget how to win. Like something.
It's just a black cloud over the franchise. It's like
trauma.
It's a trauma. It absolutely is a trauma, though. It is
trauma.
It is a trauma. Like I think the Falcons are never going to win. Like I think this iteration of the Falcons with Matt Ryan, like
never going to win.
They have to have a completely new team. It has to be the next core group.
Yep,
is going to win. Maybe this group that they have now with what's his face and the new coach and the quarterback after Matt Ryan, maybe they'll win. But this iteration of Julio, of Matt Ryan, they're not winning. They're not winning.
It's like what happened with the Yankees in 03, 04 when they blew that series to the Red Sox. Never again. That core, done.
Well, they won in
Done.
09. They won in 09.
That was a different core, though. That's when they got Teixeira. That's when they re-upped and changed the core around a little bit.
True. Yeah, but they still technically still had the core though with Posada and Jeter. Yeah, they still but I get what you're saying. It was a little bit of a modification of the core four, but
And can someone tell me why Bernie Williams was not in the core or whatever? Like you gonna
Oh,
put
listen, that
like,
pisses me
really?
off because
Are you fucking kidding me?
Bernie was a hell of a player. And I'll say this, and I say it sometimes to tweet Yankee fans because I can't stand Derek Jeter, as you know. But
he's the best player on the team.
In my opinion, during the peak of those Yankee years, Bernie Williams was the best player.
Agreed, 1000%.
There's not a player on that team that I feared more than Bernie Williams.
What about Tino?
Tino, I feared in the clutch. Tino was a good clutch hitter. Paul O'Neill was a good clutch hitter, and he gave you great at bats, and he was a warrior. But Bernie Williams, pound for pound, Bernie was the best player on that team.
I agree. Like I always get insulted when they mention the core four, and it's like, how do you leave out
Bernie? Posada was so overrated. On the team from like if Posada played on the Royals, Posada would be a plumber. Like, let's be fair. Like, Posada's not fucking that good. Posada had a good couple years. Like, he was a good player. He's a good player, but
he wasn't even there in '96. He wasn't like an integral part of the team until like, I mean, I know he
98.
Yeah, but like it wasn't like if I'm going to list the most important players in '98. Bernie, Tino, Jeter, Brocious, I put over him. You know what I mean? Like, come
Jeter,
on.
but the pitching staff,
and then like it was nice having an offensive-minded catcher, but like, come on, like, give me a break. Bernie gets constantly.
No. He gets short shifted. You know, he was a switch hitter.
Like
a switch hitter. He was very good defensively. He was a really good player. He wasn't a great player, but he was a really good player. Won a batting title. Like Bernie Williams was a really good player, and I think people forget about that.
The Hall of Fame,
and that's okay. Like sometimes you're just gonna have really good players that have really good, consistent careers. They're not Hall of Famers. They're not immortals. They're just really good players. That's it. And that's what Bernie Williams is. Like he'd be in the top of the list of just very good, consistent players for a 15-year period. That's what Bernie Williams was.
That tier of people who don't get into the Hall of Fame, that's where Bernie is for me.
Yeah. And listen, if Bernie played basketball, he'd be in the Hall of Fame because the Basketball Hall of Fame lets anybody in. Lou Williams will get into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Jesus Christ. Lou Williams will get into the basketball. I'm not shitting you. Like Lou Williams will probably make the Basketball Hall of Fame. Him and his hot wings.
Right.
Shout out to Magic City. Yeah, we're gonna move on because I can't talk about the Mets anymore. It just literally. And as bad as my week was last week, it's what added to it was this stupid Russell Westbrook trade. Oh my God.
Oh, that's right. You're a Laker fan. I want to hear your perspective on this.
Oh my God. So, well, listen, let's get into the Lakers before we kind of hover over free agency as a whole. What can I say? I'm not excited. I'm not that excited. Like, I don't love this trade. I thought it was a panic move by the Lakers. I know I seem to be in the minority now. There's a couple Laker fans that share my opinion about Russell Westbrook. You know the names. But overall, though, I feel like I'm in the minority. Like everybody's like, "Oh yeah, start printing your finals tickets for June." I'm like, okay, I guess. Like I just think it's a poor fit from a basketball perspective and chemistry perspective. I think it's a poor fit too because Westbrook's a nutcase, and we all know LeBron is not exactly a daisy to play with, and then you've got AD out there. I don't understand why. I mean, I understand why the Lakers did it, but I just cannot. I cannot fathom that you thought that this was a good move for the Lakers. It just felt like desperation on all levels. And me and you talked about it as the season unfolded, and obviously into the playoffs, and then the first round defeat and all that. But I honestly I definitely know I was in the minority in this. I think with a few minor additions and subtractions, I would have liked to have kept the core of this team in place. Like,
just add Buddy Hield, bro. That's all you needed was Buddy Hield.
I think if you add Buddy Hield, you maybe you trade KCP in the Buddy Hield deal, or probably will have to trade KCP in the Buddy Hield. But you add Buddy Hield. I know it's crazy to say, but maybe keep Schroeder on a 1-year prove it deal.
Right.
Keep your financial flexibility. Resign Caruso and THT. You still have that athleticism. You still have that defense. I'd rather that than what we did. We just got older, and I know it's a little bit of an unfair day. It's an overblown dig because we all know that veterans are primarily what work in the NBA playoffs and are primarily the veteran teams are the ones that primarily win championships, barring barring exceptions. Obviously, Golden State was a primarily young team when they won. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, there are veteran teams, older teams that win championships. So the Lakers are AARP Lakers, or it's a little bit overblown because for obvious reasons, veteran teams win. That being said, the Lakers got older. I think they got slower. I don't think they're as good defensively. This team is a big rash of injuries from happening from being in a bad spot, like as they probably similar, if not worse than they were this year. Yeah. And what I hate is that everybody just LeBron is the elixir to everything, right? Like, oh, well, just let LeBron figure it out. He'll figure it out. And I think Colin Cowherd said it best. LeBron's not at the point in his life and his career now where he should be figuring it out. Like, this is, you're getting a 36, 37-year-old LeBron. This isn't LeBron in Miami. This isn't LeBron in Cleveland. This isn't even LeBron his first year or two in the Lakers. Like, this is there's a lot of miles in that body. And you're asking LeBron to, figure it out how to play with Westbrook, how to figure out, where does AD fit in the mix with all this? Like, yeah, I just thought it was a panic move by the Lakers. I think I don't think they felt like the Kings were dealing in good faith when they were trying to do the negotiations with Buddy Hield. And I think they got desperate, and I think they just felt like, okay, well, let's just go out and get Westbrook. And I'm sorry, I'm just not excited. Now, listen, I'll root like hell. It's going to be hard to stomach because I can't stand Russell Westbrook, but it's going to be hard to stomach. I'm going to root like hell. Hopefully he keeps he's not a headache and he's not, a freaking mental case. But I just, it's hard for me to envision this right now. Now, obviously, if they get off to a 40-10 start and they're just flying on all cylinders, of course, I'll change my tune a little bit. But right now, as we sit August 9th, it's hard for me to envision this. How is it going to work? How? Like, you tell me, how is it going to work?
I mean, I don't know how it works when you have AD, LeBron, and Russell on the same time, going at the same time. So I'm with you. Just so you know, like to me, I think it's a bad fit. I wouldn't have done it. The only thing I can think of, there's two things. One is that non-LeBron lineups were awful. Like when LeBron was not on the floor, the Lakers were just bad. They were awful, especially in the playoff. They were bad. So now you can stagger LeBron and Russell, which I think is what you're going to have to do. They might start together, but LeBron gets taken out of the game with 6 minutes into the game. That's just his rotation. That's what LeBron likes. Right. He plays for 6 minutes. He gets taken out. Well, now for the rest of the first quarter, you have Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis kind of running alongside each other. And Russell Westbrook is in pretty much command of the game. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm not a fan of Russell Westbrook, but I can't deny his talent.
Yeah, I'm not denying his talent either. Yeah, no, I get it.
To me, Frank Vogel's just going to find creative ways to stagger LeBron and Russell together, separate from each other. Obviously, there's going to come to a point where at the end of the games, you're going to want to play all three of them, and then you're going to have to figure out what kind of offense to run there. You're going to have teams that are going to be packing the paint because you're going to have AD, LeBron, and Russell.
That's where the concern is. So it's now, at the end of the game.
Right. So now you're going to rely on players like Carmelo Anthony to shoot three, to hit the three. You don't have KCP anymore. You didn't pick up Buddy Hield. So THT is not really a shooter.
No,
you
he's
can
a slasher.
So if he's in the game, like you're packing the paint there. Like, who are the Lakers really going to rely on to
Malik Monk, Wayne Ellington.
Wayne Ellington can shoot. He's okay.
He can shoot, but it's Wayne.
But if I'm on defense, if I'm a coach, I'm still packing the paint and making Wayne Ellington beat me. I'm still making Carmelo Anthony, who shot the three ball very well last year. I'll give him credit, but it's not typically a 3-point shooter.
Carmelo's a factor, yeah, but Wayne Ellington, I'm totally with you, yeah. He's
but that's if and only if Carmelo accepts that role of just being a 3-point shooter like it was in Portland. Because if Carmelo's coming to Los Angeles thinking he's gonna jab step mid range, then that paint is even more packed and there's no room. So for me, they have a lot to figure out. I don't know what late game lineups of Vogel's gonna run, but I do think staggering LeBron and Russell as much as you can is probably the smartest thing to do. But end game, like you have to think about, all right, what's going to be my best five at the end of the game when it comes crunch time to win a game in the Western Conference semis or Western Conference finals. And I don't know what they're going to do, offensively. And let's never mind the fact you lost two of your best perimeter defenders, KCP. Caruso was no joke defensively. A lot of people like to get on him, but Caruso was an energy guy and was good defensively as well. Kuzma, as much as you want to get on him for, offense. I mean, defensively, I thought he was a pretty good defender. I don't mean he was great, but
No,
so now you,
Kuzma became an adequate defender
yeah,
this year. Even he's never. Don't get it twisted. He's not Scottie Pippen, but
exactly. Yeah, he's not the
he tries on defense, and he got somewhat better. He did get better. He
right.
did improve.
But now you replace that with Carmelo Anthony, who's a defensive liability, like complete defensive liability.
Mm-hmm.
To me, they got worse defensively as well. The bench is not
Yep,
as good defensively.
absolutely.
Russell Westbrook, I mean, Russell doesn't scare me defensively. He gets steals because he takes chances and he's quick and he might force turnovers here and there. But on the ball defense in the half court, like Russ is not going to lock anybody up. So for me personally, I think the Lakers just kind of it just feels like desperation, and I don't really get it. I don't get it at all. I'm surprised LeBron signed off on it, to be honest with you.
Well, listen, I'm not even going to try to psychoanalyze LeBron at this point.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I showed you that meme of the Lakers defending him when he was on the Rockets, and I mean, it's like LeBron knows this. I mean, listen, maybe obviously they, the report was they all went out to dinner and they all said, "Listen, don't ever believe what these guys say." It's easy in August to say, "Yeah, kumbaya, we're gonna play together. We love each other's moms, and our kids play together, and yada yada yada, and we go make Costco runs together." Like that's all great. It's all fine and dandy. Everybody's gonna say the right things now. When it's February, that's a February night off a back-to-back against the Kings, and Russell Westbrook jacks it up there, and just an unwarranted three, and LeBron's shaking his head at him. Like, yeah, that's where you're gonna know. I don't think they fit. I mean, you just said it yourself. They're gonna have to stagger these two guys a lot of times in these games to make it fit, and that's and when we say by fit, first of all, they're both ball dominant. So LeBron has the ability to play off the ball more so than Westbrook. Westbrook can't play off the ball. Like he doesn't give you anything on the offensive end.
Can't shoot.
That even he can't shoot. He can't even his slashing ability. He's still not exactly a guy that you want playing off the ball.
And you can't cut to the lane because the lane's clogged because you don't have shooters. So
that's the other.
Yeah,
exactly. And the other thing about Westbrook is he likes to play fast. He is a freight train. Go, 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 go. 100%. That doesn't fit with LeBron's style. I know everybody has the opinion that LeBron is fat because it's LeBron and he's got these highlight dunks.
And
but LeBron
used to be able to do that. He doesn't do that anymore.
He doesn't do that anymore because he's understood. Hey, I'm 30. I'm 36. I've got 30. In his mind, in his body, he's probably got 50-year-old legs because all the minutes and all the mileage. So he understands I can't do that, especially in the regular season. I can't play like that. And then AD isn't exactly a gazelle out there either. So how is that going to fit from a basketball perspective? LeBron and AD like to play it slow. Russell Westbrook is going to play it fast. Like, how do you get LeBron? How do you get Westbrook to slow it down and play at a contained rate? Every coach has been asking that question since 2008.
You can't.
No one's been able to figure it out. You can't. He is what he is.
And he's another year older too. And once his athleticism goes, a lot of people think this is like a very casual take, but to me it's not. Like once his athleticism goes, how is this man going to create for others? How is he going to score the basketball? This man relies on his athleticism for everything. He can't shoot the basketball. He cannot shoot. How is he going to create offense once his athleticism goes? I'm not saying his athleticism is going to go this year. He might have another 2 or 3 years in him, but he's another year older.
Another year older, a lot of more mileage on that body as well. He's another guy who's always banged up. It seems like he's it is what it is. It's these things are valid concerns, man. But everybody's kind of ignoring it because again, it's the sexy move. It's LeBron and AD. It's LeBron, AD, and Russell Westbrook. So everybody's just focused. And then they got Kendrick Nunn. I do like the Kendrick Nunn move. I think that is a sneaky, quiet, underrated move. I like that move. I know a lot of people were.
Kendrick she's a chuck. To me, I don't know.
He's a good player. I think he just never really got opportunities for health reasons mostly, but he never really got opportunities. When he was healthy and he was playing, he was balling in Miami, and then just the health, he got hurt. Wasn't a factor on the championship run. And then of course this past year, I think he was hurt again and inconsistent and minutes and all that other stuff. Yeah. So listen, I think Kendrick Nunn, if you give him a team that wants him and gives him an opportunity, I think Kendrick Nunn's a really good player, and he can be that good player. And he's got young legs. I'm not gonna lie. that's a part of the reason why I really like Kendrick Nunn too. He's just young. There's a young body on this team. It feels like we just gotten rid of all of our young legs, so he's a young body that we can use on this team. Yeah, listen, man, I wish I could sit here right now today and tell you that the Lakers are going to win 75 games and are going to march to a championship. Listen, I think I think we have the talent to win a championship for sure. I do. I think we do have talent to win a championship. Obviously, you start a season with Westbrook, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. I mean, those are three of the, is it crazy to say, three of the 75 best players to ever play the sport? Obviously, we know about LeBron.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I don't like Westbrook, I can't deny his acumen.
Those are three of the best players to ever play the game, and I'm not being crazy with AD. I mean, AD's got the talent to be an all-time great,
even
as
Melo.
we know.
Even like Melo. I mean,
even Melo. Obviously, Melo in his prime.
Howard,
obviously, Dwight Howard. Yeah. So listen, the Lakers have the talent, but again, do the pieces all fit? Chemistry-wise, are they going to all fit? From a basketball perspective, are they going to all fit? It's a lot of pressure on Vogel to try to figure this out too. So there's a lot of question marks. There's a lot more questions than there are answers right now, and so I'm cautiously optimistic that the Lakers are going to be fine, but I don't know, man. I really don't know.
They'll be fine off talent alone. I mean, it's just basically Vogel he has to figure out a lineup at the end of the game that's going to work. And I'm not really sure what that lineup looks like because the only thing I can think of, I'd rather trust LeBron off the ball and have the ball in Westbrook's hands because you can't have Westbrook off the ball. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to give Westbrook the ball because I've seen what he's done time and time again with the ball in his hands in the playoffs and in regular season games, to be honest with you. I'm going to trust Russell Westbrook when LeBron James is on my team. Like, that's insane.
And how is Russell Westbrook going to handle that?
I think he'll try.
He'll try, but again, these guys say the right things now. Everybody's going to say the right things. Everybody's going to be kumbaya. Everybody's going to be the best of friends and all that. Everybody, and they'll give it an honest effort to make it work. Will it? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I mean,
I don't know.
It's, to me, another thing I think about too. Like, if this Laker team was healthy this year, I think they're the champions. So, like, to me, like, we're talking about a team right now that, on a healthy year, well, maybe Brooklyn, who knows, but would have made the finals at least, at the very least.
Sure.
So this is a team that they're right there, if not there already. So, like, we can't sit here and act like, they're going to have trouble making it to the Western Conference Finals if they're healthy. Like, it's can they beat the Nets with this team? Period. Because to me, the Suns had their year. That was cute. That was cute.
And even Milwaukee, I don't think Milwaukee's going anywhere either. Can they beat Milwaukee with this team?
I still think the Nets are the team that I think everyone looks up to. Like, we got to get better than them.
Right. So yeah. Listen, it's going to be. Listen, as podcasters, it's going to be fun to dissect all year for sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's great for us, media people.
Hell yeah,
it's going to be great for us. But is this something that we're just? Is it going to work? That's the main thing. Is this something that's going to work? And is this something that we're going to look back on and say, okay, this was a perfect thing. This is a perfect fit. They fit seamlessly in. Someone's going to have to take. And that's another thing too. Can we stop with LeBron was able to play with Dwayne Wade and that was no problem. LeBron was able to play with Kyrie. That was no problem. First of all,
it was problems.
There were problems. Number one. Number two, the thing that people don't bring up when they bring up specifically Dwayne Wade, somebody had to sacrifice, and that was Chris Bosh. Look at what happened to Chris Bosh. They made Chris Bosh into a spot-up three-point shooter. Look at what happened in Cleveland. They basically ruined Kevin Love's career and made him a spot-up shooter. Is that what's going to happen with Anthony Davis? Like,
and reputation.
Someone had to sacrifice. Someone's role changed. People don't bring that up when they discuss like, oh, LeBron's fit with Kyrie or LeBron's fit with Dwayne Wade. Somebody was able to shift and had to change. And is that going to be the case on this team?
Yeah, it has to be.
And if it's Anthony Davis, then it's criminal.
Absolutely. Like the team should be tested. Vogel should be thrown in jail if he's the one that decides to make Anthony Davis sacrifice his role. It should be Westbrook. Westbrook should be coming into the situation like, okay, I need to fit in somehow.
But that's the thing. I don't know how you do that. He's not a good enough offensive shooter. He doesn't have that consistent mid-range where you say, okay, yeah, I know that the statistics say he shot better from three this year than KCP. I know that, but be honest, who do you trust?
Yeah. Russ is interesting. He's a big piece of the puzzle. He's a big puzzle piece, but he has a bunch of like different things sticking out. So in order to make things work, you need a lot of different pieces.
And listen, I've always said this about Russell Westbrook. There are times Russell Westbrook is the ultimate love-hate player. You love the effort, you love the energy. This is a guy that plays his ass off each and every night. Russell Westbrook's a guy that's going to go out there. He's going to give you 150%. Russell Westbrook's a guy that on a back-to-back 3 nights in a row, Oklahoma City's in town. He's going to go out there. He's going to play 40 minutes. He's going to give you 25 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. And you love about him. You love that about him. In an era where you don't get that a lot, he's going to play his ass off, and he's going to give you an honest, professional effort each and every night. He's going to be a warrior on the court. He'd kill his own mother to beat you. You love that about him. The same thing that you love about Westbrook is kind of the same. His attitude when it comes to these moments in both season, where it's like he doesn't know how to slow down the game. And he's his own worst enemy in a lot of these big moments and these big spots. But like I said, the thing you love about Westbrook is that, but the thing you hate about Westbrook is in a big postseason game, he can't shoot. He's not a great offensive player, and he's chucking up threes or he's driving recklessly to the basket. And he's costing his team these games. And that's what you hate about Russell Westbrook, is that he doesn't play a contained style of basketball that is suitable or has proven that can win big in the postseason and by himself or have him as a lead guy. I know he got to conference finals with Kevin Durant, by the way. That's another narrative. Oh, he won with Kevin Durant. He's won before he got to a final. Yeah, and that was also Kevin Durant, James Harden. Like, people for convenience. It's just funny how they try to shift narratives to fit whatever.
And prime Serge Ibaka. People forget who was dirty.
Yeah. Right. Used to leap out of the gym. Like, stop it. Like, stop, people. Like, listen, it's okay to admit that Russell Westbrook has some serious holes in his game. Like, that's not taking anything away from his accomplishments. That's not taking anything away from the triple doubles. That's not doing anything. It's just saying, like, yo, this is not a perfect player.
Bro,
he's not a perfect player.
Russell Westbrook fans are the alt-right of the NBA.
The alt-right of the NBA.
Yeah, the fucking alt-right, bro. I'm sorry.
Oh my God! Listen, remember when Russell Westbrook was better than like Steph Curry and Dave Dillard? I remember that. That was cute. Those were fun times.
I mean, it's funny because it goes like Russ is better than Steph, and they have to concede that because it gets ridiculous, and then it goes Russ is better than Dame, and they got to concede that because it becomes ridiculous, and it's just it just every year it's just someone else where it's like you got to concede. It's like, all right, he's not better than this person.
No, he's not
better than this person.
They'll have you believe he is, but whatever. But yeah,
Dude
listen,
got outplayed by Ricky Rubio. That's all I'm saying.
Yet I get told he's better than Steph. But hey, God bless him. God bless him. Free agency as a whole, as we kind of skip away from the Lakers and just talk about free agency as a whole, what are some of the moves you really liked in free agency?
This free agency was interesting because I didn't think there was anyone out there who I was like, gotta get him. Like, oh my God. like there were some few big names and whatnot. A lot of people, I'm just gonna bring this up because a lot of people like what Chicago did. I don't really like Chicago. Cool. Lonzo goes. I wanted Lonzo as a Knicks fan. I wanted him personally, and I think Lonzo's a solid NBA point guard, but like, he's not a franchise changer. I think he's a franchise builder. I think you could build upon the acquisition. And DeMar DeRozan is all right, nice. Like, okay, I like what they did. I think they're a playoff team now, but in any way, do I think they're a contender? No, not at all. So to me, I think it's nice what they did. The Heat signing PJ Tucker to me was cool. Jimmy Butler, I think they kind of have an attitude re-signing Oladipo. Kyle Lowry, same thing. Like, how old is Kyle Lowry now? Like, is he going to make that big of a difference? Am I the only one like who thinks that? Like, when he signed to the Heat, everyone's like making a big deal out of it. And I'm like, yeah, he's nice, but
yeah, because everybody's in love with names as opposed to like actual fit and how does this make this team better? Listen, I it's weird. I'm conflicted with the Bulls because it's weird, right? Because we always talk about the NBA, right? Like, if you're not trying to win a championship, then you're basically an NBA Siberia, right? You're not. You just might as well just blow it up and try again because you're not. It means nothing to, the worst thing you could be in the NBA is either basically the 7th to 10th seed, because you're not winning a championship and you're not bad enough to get a Cade Cunningham or a Jalen Green. So you're kind of in that NBA purgatory situation where you're just not getting better. You're not worse. You're not getting better. So you're just you're beating your head against the wall. And that's what Chicago in a lot of ways was doing for the last decade, basically. But we also are sports fans, and we always kill franchises for not going out there trying to get better, build upon the pieces that they have and trying to get better. So that's why I'm a little bit conflicted with Chicago. I think Chicago's better. I do think they're better. I think they've improved. I like what they did. I first of all, you know what I like what they did, because they didn't just get, aside from DeRozan, which is a veteran, they got young pieces that you could build upon and continue to add pieces to. You have Caruso, who I thought that was a hell of a signing by them. I think
that was a good
going to
pickup on the
help them a
bench.
lot.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that backcourt defense with Caruso and Lonzo. My God. I mean, as a Laker fan, I saw what that could have been, and that's going to be legit. Then obviously you still got Levine there. You still got Vucevic there, two really good players. And then you add Lonzo and Caruso. And then, of course, you add DeRozan. I like what Chicago did. Listen, I don't have delusions or grandeur. I don't think this is, I don't think if you're a Chicago Bulls fan, you should be printing finals tickets right now. No, absolutely not. I think Chicago's a good, solid team. You know what? They can be a Knicks team.
Yeah.
I think 47 games.
Second round's their ceiling, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, I honestly don't expect them to make it out of the first round. To me, they're not better than the Nets. They're not better than the Bucks. They're not better than the Sixers still. Right. I still have hope in the Sixers. With Ben Simmons gone, that team's going to run through Embiid, so I still think they're going to be okay. The Hawks, just made the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not ready to put the Bulls over the Hawks. So that's 4 teams right there. And then I'm thinking about it. I'm like, all right, DeRozan, Levine, Lonzo, Vucevic. Like, how is this offense going to work? Because that lineup specifically, even though Lonzo is a good defensive player, that lineup specifically isn't a good defensive lineup. No. So it's like, you got to score points. So how are they going to share the basketball? You do have a point guard in Lonzo who's willing to give the ball up and distribute the rock. But at the same time, Levine's used to having the ball in his hands. DeRozan plays better with the ball in his hands. Vucevic can kind of play off the ball, but someone's going to have to sacrifice there.
I didn't get the DeRozan. I didn't get the DeRozan acquisition. The DeRozan acquisition kind of felt like signing a name for the sake of signing a name.
Yeah,
I didn't understand that move, honestly. Like, I think it's a good pickup. I mean, DeMar DeRozan is still a really good player.
Yeah. So to me, I think everyone's praising the move just because the talent's there on the roster. But when I think about it, how it's going to work, to me, it's like, I don't know. Like, it's there. We'll see what happens. But like I said, like that starting lineup and that lineup they're probably going to end with is not particularly good defensively. And outside of Lonzo, who's going to play off the ball? Levine, he's used to having the ball in his hands. Vucevic is used to being a first option. DeRozan needs the ball in his. It's kind of like, all right, well, you're definitely going to score some points, but is everybody going to be happy? And how are you going to score those points? Is it going to be efficient? So for me, the Bulls have a lot of question marks. Obviously, they're better. I think they make the playoffs. I'm not saying they're a bad team, but this idea that the Bulls are like going to be this team that you need to look out for, to me, is kind of ridiculous. I think they're solid. They're cool. They're like a cool 5, 6, 7 seed.
No, I agree with you. I would say I agree with your point in theory. Like, yeah, are the Bulls a championship team? No. And that's kind of the danger of Twitter and just what the world we live in now, where, any move with a name, this is the greatest move ever, right? Or this is the worst move ever, right? That's just the level of the news cycle that we live in. I think that when you kind of step back and kind of take that approach of like, okay, let's look at how this actually fits from a basketball perspective, chemistry perspective, and all that. Yeah, I'm higher on the Bulls than you are. Listen, by no means am I saying they're a championship team. By no means am I saying they're even a conference finals teams. Not much less. But I think they're better. I think they're much improved. They have some young pieces there that I like. I think that they're a solid team. They've gotten better. And that's right now. If you're a Bulls fan, you should be excited. Your team is better. Your team is competitive. That's it. Don't start printing up finals tickets. Don't start, basically saying, we want Giannis in the Buck. Like, slow down. Just build off.
They're not in the upper echelon of Eastern Conference teams. That's the only point that I was making. I saw a lot of overreactions on Twitter where it was just kind of like printing out playoff tickets to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm like, relax, relax.
Listen, the
ceiling is second round, probably out in the first.
Yeah. The way you feel about the Bulls is kind of how I feel about the Heat, though, which is crazy. Like, everybody's telling me the Heats did this great stuff, and I'm just like, okay. It's weird, right? Because, like, yes, on paper they're better on paper, but I would also say they're older, a lot older, and that's still is that it's weird. Like, I feel like if this was 1999, I would love this fucking Heat team. Like, it's like a gritty, physically just imposing, dominating. Like, this is like I would love this fucking Heat team if this was 1999 or 1997. NBA basketball. Now, like, PJ Tucker's a year older, a year more on those miles, and I do think that's a decent pickup for that team. But still,
I love PJ Tucker. He's one
Kyle,
of my favorite players.
I love PJ Tucker as well. I think that is a good
Yeah.
pickup for him. And I'm kind of surprised he went there. I'm surprised he didn't want to stay with the Bucks, or maybe they just felt like they couldn't keep him, and he just wanted to get one last contract out of
income tax in Miami, man. That matters.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Maybe it was just as simple as that.
Yeah.
But I like the PJ Tucker signing. The Kyle Lowry thing. Kyle Lowry. I mean, listen, I like the guy too, but he's 36. He's 35, right? Kyle Lowry's 30.
He's old
Yeah.
in NBA years.
Yeah. Can he still be a very good, effective player? Yes, but still, it's Kyle Lowry in his mid 30s. The Victor Oladipo thing, I didn't understand that re-signing. I was just like, okay, we're still doing this again. Victor Oladipo, you just can't count on. Do we know right now what Victor Oladipo is going to look like next year? I don't. Do you know?
That's why they have him on a
know.
1-year deal. I mean, my assumption is that they sign him for 1 year if he doesn't look good, or they can probably trade him at the deadline to someone. I don't know. But that's another thing. Like, you sign Lowry, but then you have Oladipo there, so it's like, who's going to get those minutes? You have Jimmy Butler in the backcourt already, so who's going to get those minutes?
Right. I guess the thing I don't like about the Miami thing is just like, are they basically admitting that the young pieces that helped them get to the finals, last year, or 2 years ago now, almost, those young pieces are kind of being shifted to the side now. I mean, I know they re-signed Tyler Hero. Oh, boy, that the star faded fast.
Kendrick Nunn's gone.
Kendrick Nunn is gone. I mean,
he's not the young one, but he's
a young one. Yeah, but I get what you're saying. Yeah,
Duncan Robinson is the only one that seems like it's going to crack the rotation there.
Right, and if I would have had that poll, if we would have had a straw poll, just last summer, and who's the guy you build long term with, I think a lot of people would have said Tyler Hero or even Kendrick Nunn. I think you would have had some people even give you Duncan Robinson. I think people felt like he was a shooter, so most people were just like, you can find shooting. But yeah, he stayed, and Tyler Hero. I mean, where does Tyler Hero even fit on? Listen, he's not I don't care about Tyler Hero. I'm just saying, like, that's what I found interesting about that, is like them basically saying that that infusion of youth that they had is essentially kind of, it's done. We want to win a championship. So, which I get. I don't know. I look at that team and I'm like, are they better than the Nets? No. Are they even better than the Are they better than the Bucks? No. Honestly, if the Celtics are healthy, I like the Celtics roster.
I didn't even mention the Celtics when I was listening to Eastern Conference teams. That's another team that
everybody is killing the Celtics, right?
They'll be fine.
Everybody. I think the Celtics are a team. I think they're just chilling. I think they're just like, look, we're just going to have a quiet offseason.
Yep.
We're going to let our guys get healthy, get rested. I think having a quiet offseason, not having the specter of Ainge, and is he going to make a move, not make a move? Is he going to trade a pick, not make a trick? It's quiet, new coach, new system. Stevens is upstairs. Tatum, this is your team. This is your franchise. Jaylen Brown, this is your team. This is your franchise. They got Marcus Smart there, who could shift right on into the point guard position. They've got some young pieces in Robert Williams, and
you don't have to try to force that Kemba fit anymore. Like, that's gone.
Don't have to try to force it anymore. I think they'll make some small additions. I think if I was Dennis Schroeder, I'd go there. I don't
know if they want him there.
But. Well, apparently they're negotiating with him. I think they're trying to get him on a 1 year or 1 year and an option type of thing. Apparently, So yeah, if I'm Dennis Schroeder, I'd go there, and I should think that would be I like Schroeder. I think everybody's killing Schroeder. I like Schroeder as a player. I know that Schroeder he's not a superstar, but on the Celtics, if he's your fourth option
off the bench, he's perfect off the bench. He's perfect.
He's a spark plug point guard. He's a guy that comes in. He's a 6 man of the year type of guy. That's all you need him to do.
And honestly, it was just one game. Game 5 ruined everything. If he wasn't so bad in Game 5 of that series, he would be signed already to something close to what he wanted.
Dennis Schroeder is not the reason that we lost that series.
No, he's not.
And even if he played well, it wouldn't have made a difference because we didn't have AD and LeBron was disinterested. I know that's a hot take, but LeBron was disinterested. Anyway, so sorry, he had an ankle injury. Sorry about that. He was trying to promote Space Jam, but so yeah, listen, I think that the Celtics are still a team that I think the Celtics are still a team that has a shot in the East,
I
man.
agree.
Like I don't think everybody is writing that team off. I think losing Evan Fournier because he played well for them. I thought that was a loss for them. I think they need to replace him. But
Go
other than that,
Knicks. Go Knicks,
we'll get
baby.
you. We'll get to your boys because yeah. Well, no, we'll get to them now. Well, how do you feel about the Knicks? There's a split. I feel like there's a split. I don't know about Knicks fans, but I think there's a split amongst the NBA people. But a lot of people I talk to, they think they either love what the Knicks did or they hate it what the Knicks did.
I really like what the Knicks did. Listen, I'm a Knicks fan. I'm really realist. Again, this team ceiling first round exit, but like a competitive series. This team is just not in the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference. Knicks fans have to just realize that this team isn't there. They're just not there. This year to me is to make sure or to continue the culture thing that we started last year, to make sure to stamp in the ground. We are going to be a perennial playoff team going forward. The culture has changed. We have players here. Let's ball. I think Evan Fournier was a good pickup, as you saw how he played in the Olympics.
I agree.
He has the ability to
I
take
agree.
over a game. In Orlando, I mean, the Magic were making the playoffs with him as their leading scorer. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like he's going to make an all-star team, but he's solid. He's a very solid player. Then you got
Really
Kemba Walker, who I haven't given up on, who to me just was in a situation in Boston he didn't want to be in. Yes, he's a little injury prone. He didn't play well at all. I'm not making excuses for that. But to get him off of a buyout where you don't have to pay him what he was getting paid in Boston, you're paying him $8 million for let's roll the dice. We're not winning a championship this year. Let's see what we have in Kemba. Like, to me, I think it's great. Take some pressure off of Julius Randle, who at times was just like, here, take the ball, go do something. Now you got two players who can do that on their own, who can create
kept
for others
Rose.
as well. Yeah. Kept Rose, who I
Derrick
think you now
Rose.
bring up the bench. We have a solid rotation. I can make a case that we have nice 9 to 10 man rotation going into the season with a rookie draft cast that I like based off of what I've seen and what I know of them. So I like what the Knicks did. At the end of the day, they're not a championship team. They're not going to fight for a championship. As long as they can put forth the effort they put last year, make the playoffs, and I can see improvements where, once the Nets and that trio break up and the Bucks get older or whatever, like we can kind of compete and move our way up here and there. I'm satisfied. So, and I think they're going to do that. So I'm happy. I'm happy with their offseason.
Yeah, I think the Knicks did a good job as well. I don't understand the lack of love, I guess, that they're receiving for their moves. And that's not everybody. There's some people that I know and trust that were kind of on the Knicks moves.
What were they going to do? There was no free agent on the market aside from
Right.
Kawhi Leonard, who wasn't going to sign anywhere outside of Los Angeles that could have changed your franchise. There's not a single player. Maybe Chris Paul, but outside of that, like, what are you going to do?
Why do you want Chris Paul? He's
Exactly.
39. Like,
I love Chris Paul. I'm one of the biggest Chris Paul fans, but like, I don't want Chris Paul. Like, we're a young team that is developing, that is going to have our moment if we play our cards right. Let's just continue to go that way.
I think a lot of Knicks fans wanted Lonzo.
I did.
I think a lot of Knicks fans.
I did.
I think a lot of Knicks fans still had delusions of grandeur on Dame. They wanted that sexy name, and it's like they feel like Kemba's not a sexy name, at least not right now. They're kind of getting Kemba. There's almost like there's almost like you're getting damaged goods with Kemba Walker, which could be. I think Kemba Walker's actually going to play well for the Knicks. I think he's got something to prove. I think he's going to be motivated. I think he's going to want to get another big. I mean, how old is Kemba? Kemba's like 31, 32?
Yeah.
Something
33.
like that.
I'll check. Let me check.
Yeah, Kemba's I'm terrible with guys' age, but I think Kemba's 32 if I'm not mistaken.
31.
31. Yeah, so he's not I mean, his legs are shot probably, but he's not done. Like, Kemba Walker's still a good player. That's that was the frustrating thing in Boston, is like he had moments and he had bursts of moments where he was good. Just the fit in Boston just never worked. It just sometimes you just sign a guy and it just doesn't work.
And that's important. People don't realize that. Like, if you're put in a situation where you're not comfortable on the court, you're not going to perform. Like, these people are human. Like, not everyone performs everywhere they go. Like, and to me, Kemba, I think Kemba's gonna be fine. I'm thrilled with the signing, especially because we got him after the buyout. We're only paying him $8 million. Like,
yeah, Yeah,
It's
you lose.
unbelievable we got him at.
You're getting him at a bargain. Yeah, I think Kemba's going to play well. I think he's going to be back in New York. I think that's also plays a role. I think he's going to be motivated. I think he's going to play well. I think he can be a bounce back candidate. You're still going to be concerned about his knees and his legs, and you're definitely going to have. He's not a guy who's going to play back to backs. He's not a guy that's going to, you're going to have to be careful with him. But if he's healthy and you get him in the right, medical staff and training staff, I still like Kemba Walker a lot. I really do. So I like that signing for the Knicks. I thought that was a solid, smart pickup. And like you said, they're not paying him anything, so you're literally, it's not a risk for you at all for any reason. And then I like the Randall extension. You have somebody, you have a face, you have somebody to build around. He's the guy.
Yeah, he shaved off a couple $1 million off the deal too. Like locked him
Yeah,
up early.
yeah. You still got Quickly there. I think. Listen, if you're a Knick fan, you want to see the continued ascension of Quickly, and you want to see the continued ascension of RJ Barrett. I think this is a big year for RJ Barrett. I think that it's now or never. It's put up time. It's put up or shut up time for RJ Barrett. He should be working out like an animal all year, trying to get better all summer long, working out, getting better, getting in the gym, improving, becoming more of a consistent shooter and a consistent, reliable scorer. Listen, if you're a Knick fan right now, your goal next year is to make the playoffs and see growth and maturation from Quickly and Barrett,
And I want to see
and
Julius
Mitchell Robinson stay healthy.
that too. And I want to see Julius have a nice playoffs, like just to make up for what he did last year.
That's it. Like
Maybe win a round, maybe.
Yeah. Listen, the Knicks have been so bad for so long that you just want a consistent team that you can root for, that is a good, solid, stable, healthy franchise. That's it. That's all you want for the Knicks. Listen, we can talk about championships and where does this core go and what the future looks like, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe year 3, year 4, but right now you're still building on the success of last year, and I think these moves do that.
I agree. I'm down with the moves. I like them.
Any other additions that you liked? We'll get to stuff that you really didn't like.
I mean, I liked Otto Porter going to the Warriors. I think he's like the Harrison Barnes, like what Harrison Barnes was, like to a lesser extent. Obviously, I think Harrison Barnes is better than Otto, but Otto can shoot the three. I think he's one of the more underrated players in the league. I think he kind of gets a bad rap for whatever reason, but I like
because
Otto.
of that contract. That contract was just,
that's probably what it was. But I like Otto a lot, and I think that he fills a need for the Warriors in depth, and he can be like I said, like that Harrison Barnes. So to me, that was one of the more underrated signings that I can think of off the top of my head. What about you?
Oh man, just kind of scouring the league. Like I said, I like what the Bulls did. I like what the Knicks did. Trying to think anything else that really stood out to me. I don't have the free agency primer, I guess, in front of me, so I'm having a hard time thinking. But yeah, I think there were some decent moves out there. Nothing that really was like, oh, that's terrible, or that's a great. So, like I said, like you said when we first started this conversation, right? This free agency was weird because there wasn't anybody out there that just kind of like, oh man, you got it. This is the summer of this, or this is the summer.
Right.
You know what? I like what the Wizards are doing.
Yeah, me too.
I actually think the Wizards are a better team this year than they were last year.
I agree.
I think the Spencer Dinwiddie acquisition is good if he's healthy. Got to say that he's healthy. If Spencer Dinwiddie is healthy, he's a good, solid player. I like teams that are quiet. I like the aura of the team being quiet. Besides Beal and whether he's going to commit there long term or whatever, they're not all the way quiet. But I feel like there's not a lot going on. I think people are not talking about them, and I actually think they're going to be better. I think they're going to be more stable next year. They're going to be more whole. I think when you can start your roster with Bradley Beal, Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, KCP, Rui Hachimura.
Kuzma gets us fresh start, and then I like Kispert, the guy they drafted.
Yeah, Kispert's a good player. Kispert's a good shooter. They got Bertans there still. Yeah,
right.
that team's got players. That's a solid team there. That's not a.
Yeah.
That's not. I like what the Wizards are doing. I think the Wizards are a solid team. They're a solid team. Obviously, they got to figure out the whole situation with Bradley Beal. Is he staying? Is he going? Is he not? That whole drama. But listen, if I'm the Wizards management, I'm selling Beal on look at the team. Look at the roster we got you
right
this year. Like Unless you're telling me you're going to the Warriors, unless you're telling me you're going to Brooklyn, unless you're telling me you're going to Boston, where are you going that you're going to get this group of players? Like,
Right.
I think Kuzma's going to ball in DC. I really
I do
do.
too.
I think he's going to ball. I think Trez is the perfect pickup for that team. A dog, you know. I like what the Wizards have done. It's
I do too.
crazy. I said that. I put that out there in a group chat, and people fried me for it because, oh, God, the Wizards. I like their team. I like their roster.
Suddenly the East is like kind of interesting, right?
Yeah, there's some depth pieces in the East, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's the other thing that's the other team that's kind of been sticking out to me is the Wizards. I really like what they've done. I think they've really improved their team. So, yeah, I'd say the Wizards. So what are some moves or some? And I don't have to be just moves or teams that haven't really done much that you're just kind of like, what the fuck?
The Blazers.
A common theme here are the Blazers.
Oh my god, dude! I mean, they re-signed Norman Powell. Good for you, but outside of that, you get Cody Zeller and Ben McLemore. After Damian Lillard is like, "Listen, I need help. I need help." And that's
Yeah, Cody Zeller's not going to do it for you, Dame.
oh my god, man, what is going on? It's almost to the point where I feel like
Dame.
Neil O'Shea just does not want Dame there. Like it's just like Dame.
I just think Neil O'Shea just doesn't know what he's doing. Like
He's horrible. I mean, I read something today that they offered Hassan Whiteside an offer and he turned it down. He didn't want to play for Portland, which says a lot to me.
Whiteside?
Yeah. So like if Hassan Whiteside's turning you down, you got some problems.
How did it get so bad?
The crazy thing about that is like to your point, it's not like Dame is playing with a bunch of like YMCA dudes. Like Norm Powell's legit, CJ McCollum's legit, Nurkic is legit, Covington's legit. You have a legit starting five. Right now on the market, if you get Dennis Schroeder as a backup, you get Josh Hart to play backup shooting guard. You can actually turn this into like a decent squad. You know what I mean?
I don't think they're missing that much. I honestly don't think they're missing that much. Like I think there's, I don't understand this narrative that the Blazers are just this ragamuffin team that just has no talent.
They're not, but
they are. Yeah.
But Neil didn't do Dame any favors this offseason. So Ben McLemore's not going to get any playing time. Cody Zeller's a nice backup at best, 15 minutes a game. Like he's cool.
Yeah,
but
Cody Zeller's on a really good team. Cody Zeller's the ninth man on a team. He'll have a game in February where Cody Zeller have 20 points and 8 rebounds and 30 minutes or something, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, Cody Zeller had a good game," and then he won't do shit for the rest of the year.
Right.
Like that's Cody Zeller is. He's a body.
He's a body.
Cody Zeller's one of those guys that'll play in the league for 15 years. Play on a bunch of teams, be a valuable asset in the locker room, be a vet, and that's it. That's all Cody Zeller is.
Pick him up in fantasy basketball for the day and hope he gets a double-double, and then you drop him the next day. That's Cody Zeller.
That's it. That is all. That is all Cody Zeller is. Yeah, I feel like Portland and Philly are kind of in that same. I don't understand what Philly's doing. Andre Drummond, really?
That was weird. Yeah.
What are you telling me about Embiid? That maybe there's more to that injury.
I don't know. I don't think they'll run an offense around Andre. Maybe they just wanted
no, like, and that's not what I mean. I mean that if you're bringing in a guy like Andre Drummond who could start on 20 of 30 teams or so in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a Drummond fan, but he's a starting center at the very least on most teams, decent teams in the NBA. Like, you're bringing that kind of guy in. What does that tell me about Embiid's health? Not his future, just his health. And we all know Embiid is a walking medical report. I look at it more. I didn't understand that. I
think Dwight left, and they were just looking for someone to replace Dwight. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah, but maybe, and maybe this is from a Drummond perspective. Maybe there just wasn't feelers out there for him.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I like the Niang pickup. I think
Niang was a solid pickup. Niang was a solid pickup.
A little bit.
Yeah, he's on the floor.
It's interesting to me to see if they hand the keys over to Tyrese Maxey. I know he's going to be in his second year, but they played really well with him when he was leading the team last year in the playoffs. So you hand him the keys to the car and say, "All right, you're a point guard now. Let's see what you got." And then
Philly, Go
They
ahead.
got
I'm sorry.
they have assets coming once they trade Ben Simmons. So to me, free agency wasn't the spot where they make their move. It's going to be with the Ben Simmons deal.
True, but if that, I'm starting to think they're going to do something psychotic, like not trade him or go into the season with him. If they go into the season with him, that's just a recipe for disaster. I just you can't. Yeah, listen. I think that Philly. I think Philly and Portland are interestingly kind of in a similar state where they're just kind of in a holding pattern because they don't know what in the case of Portland, they don't know what Dame wants or is going to do. And in the case of Philly, the whole Ben Simmons situation is just an albatross. So they're kind of just in this holding pattern where it's like, okay, well, let's not do anything too crazy because we have this potential game changer one way or another that could play out on both these sides. So what's going to happen here? But that's when you're in a holding pattern, that's you get a down for me because it's just not really, you haven't really improved.
No, I get it. I don't think free agency is where Philly wanted to improve, though. I think they're banking on the Ben Simmons deal. So,
yeah. Trying to think of anybody else that I don't understand what they did or moves that I don't get.
The Mavs did nothing to help Luka.
Yeah, the Mavs haven't done anything. That's kind of surprising. That's really surprising. I don't understand what the Mavs are doing. I don't get
Pelicans. What are they doing to help Zion?
Listen, the Pelicans. Why do you get Lonzo Ball out of there? Why? What like I don't. First of all, apparently now there's this wanton desire to have Zion as your 0.5.
They have no idea what they're doing.
They have the Pelicans are the embodiment of like giving a 13-year-old a fucking Miata and then like, here, figure it out. Like I cannot compute, don't know what to do. Drive fast, drive crazy. Like, I don't know. And then they crash it.
And then they get a new one because they crashed the AD one. Right. But hey, here's another one.
Here's another one. It's what is that franchise doing? Letting Lonzo walk.
They don't know what they're doing. They're throwing darts.
Devontae Graham, that's your replacement for Lonzo. I mean, I like Devontae Graham, but it's like, really? That's what you're doing? You're not re-signing Josh Hart apparently either. Yeah, so much for. Remember when people said that the Pelicans won the AD trade?
Oh my god, I was one of those people, actually. I'll be honest with you.
Remember that one?
I was like, they got a lot. I was like, that's a lot to give for AD.
Remember that one?
Jeez, that's a bad take. I hope that's not on Twitter.
Man, it's somewhere. I'll find it. No, the Pelicans are just this franchise that they just don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're just in a perpetual, they're like the Kings. They're just stuck in a perpetual cycle of nothingness. And they don't go up, they don't go down, they're just there. They're just there. And they're it's so frustrating to talk about the Pelicans because it's like I just don't see the vision. I don't see what they're doing. They have Zion and they have Brandon Ingram.
Yay!
that's it. Yay. And Devontae Graham, like that's it. Oh, and they got Valanciunas, and they got.
They'll be honestly, the New Orleans might not even have a team in 10 years. At the rate they're going,
they may not have Zion, which means they won't have a team.
Zion's going to be gone. Ingram's going to be gone, and they're just going to be like. And then it's like, if they get the first pick again, like, do you really even trust them to?
And this is why I get so mad about the narratives about like players don't win and they can't do this and you do that and all this other stuff, because it's like, what can you do? Can you really blame Zion for what's going on with the Pelicans? They're a shitty organization. Shitty organization. Like, they've done nothing. They've done nothing to help this kid. Like, you have a once in a generation talent in Zion Williamson, and you've essentially done nothing to help.
They should have never fired Gentry. I know it's not that. I mean,
no, I think they should have fired Gentry. I just think that a replacement with
Stan Van Gundy.
Stan was just Stan. Stan is a good coach, but he's a coach. Stan is a good coach that was past his time. I don't think Stan works in current NBA. That's it. Fair. It's just if this was 1990, if this was 2002, and Stan Van Gundy's available, of course you run at the opportunity to get a Stan Van Gundy, but he just doesn't fit in today's NBA. I don't think so. it was a bad hire. They should have hired somebody else. They should have figured that part out a long time ago. That's why coaching matters, man. Sometimes people. I hate when people say in the NBA, "Oh, coaching doesn't matter." It matters. It matters. Absolutely. You think the Pelicans right now wouldn't be in a better situation if they had Nick Nurse? And I'm not saying they would have had Nick Nurse or anything. I'm just saying, like, you don't think they would be in a better situation if they had Nick Nurse, or if they had Coach Bud. I know everybody wants to throw darts at Coach Bud, but Coach Bud would be Phil Jackson in New Orleans compared to what they've had. So sometimes coaching matters. Coaching matters. So yeah, I don't understand what the Pelicans are doing. I'm surprised that the Mavericks, they've really done nothing. I can't think of anything of note that they've done besides Jason Kidd. I can't think of anything major that they've done. I'm surprised they haven't added anybody of any real value. Nothing.
They re-signed Tim Hardaway Jr. Nice.
Good. I like Tim Hardaway Jr. and he fits and he plays well with Luka, but
he shouldn't be your number 2.
Hey, they're stubborn, man. You know what they've done? They feel I stand corrected. They feel like they've done a lot. They got Carlisle out of there. Now it's Luka's franchise. It's his team. He's got Jason Kidd there, and that's what they've done. They've improved. Oh, that's going to make KP better. Remember, that's going to make KP better. That's what's going to happen. You got Jason Kidd there, and as long as he's not giving advice on spousal issues, Jason Kidd will be fine. Because we saw how that worked out in Brooklyn and Milwaukee. Jason Kidd, that was a great hire. Can we stop making Jason Kidd a thing when it comes to coaching? Like, can we stop that?
I don't know how this man continues to get opportunities
because he's Jason Kidd. That's why.
It doesn't make sense.
That's because he's Jason Kidd.
I don't care.
Jason Kidd has all these coaching opportunities and big. It's not like Jason Kidd's coaching, the Charlotte Bobcats. No, like he's had big time coaching opportunities.
Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets.
And he's fumbled all of them. Giannis. But Patrick Ewing, you mean to tell me Patrick Ewing can't get a coaching job?
Yeah, he has blackmail on Adam Silver. I'm freaking convinced.
Patrick Ewing, like no one in the NBA has called Patrick Ewing to give him a job. Literally, you can't. You mean to tell me that Patrick Ewing can't coach? Just give him a shot. Something. Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, Mavericks, Pelicans. I don't think the Jazz have done a lot either.
The Jazz re-signed Mike Conley. They're running it back. Oh, they also signed who they signed? I thought it was a good signing actually. Man, who they signed? I forgot.
They signed somebody. I'm forgetting about it too now. They signed somebody. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to scour Bleacher amongst their.
It wasn't Whiteside. They signed Whiteside, but it wasn't Whiteside.
They signed Whiteside, but that wasn't it.
Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay, I like off the bench, who's someone who can create his own shot. I don't like Rudy Gay on a lot of teams, but I like Rudy Gay on this team because they need someone outside of Donovan Mitchell to kind of like go get a bucket.
That was okay.
Yeah,
it was okay. It doesn't move the needle for me, but it was okay. It was fine. You like what Milwaukee's done?
Yeah, I mean, they're the champions. I don't like the fact they lost PJ Tucker. Trading for Grayson Allen's kind of interesting because to me, they don't really need anyone on the perimeter like that. Especially with
that's a boomer bust pickup. I actually think that's
I like Grayson. I think Grayson's turned into a nice pro. I just don't know like where he's gonna get playing time. You got Drew there, and then DiVincenzo's coming back. You got Pat Connaughton in the back. So like, where is he really gonna fit?
I think they probably view him as a higher level Pat Connaughton.
I think Pat's better. George Hill, Rodney Hood, solid pros. Veterans.
I actually like that Rodney. If he's healthy, I like Rodney Hill.
He's never healthy. Never healthy.
He was the third best player on that Portland team a couple years ago before he got hurt.
There was a Rodney Hood game where he literally beat the Denver Nuggets by himself.
Listen, he's a good player. He's just never healthy.
He's all right.
Listen, I'm partisan to Duke fans. They're Duke guys, but no, Rodney Hood is a good solid player. He's just can't stay healthy. That's part of greatness is staying on the court.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I like what Milwaukee's done. I think they've made quiet, underrated. I mean, they re-signed Portis, which is important, and I think they probably feel like everything PJ gives us Bobby Portis can give us too. He's not as good defensively, but he gives us that toughness and that physicality, that dog, and he's younger. So I think they kind of feel like they're okay there. And then obviously adding Grayson Allen and George Hill, I think it improves that bench. And then of course they're getting Dante DiVincenzo back too. So I think Milwaukee's set up pretty well here. I really do. I think Milwaukee's going to be okay. Are you know who I'd be higher on Milwaukee? Who do you think Lou Williams is going to sign with?
He re-signed with Atlanta.
Did he re-sign with Atlanta? Okay, I missed that one. My bad. Okay, I missed that one.
You can't leave Magic City, bro. Come on.
Yeah, no, listen, and here I thought that Magic City got all this fame because of rappers and
man, Lou Williams.
Lou Williams put Lou Williams put the Magic City Wingstocks on full overdrive.
When I go to Atlanta, I am not a strip club guy. Do not care for strip clubs. That's not my thing, but I will go there just to try the chicken wings.
Yeah, sure. Josh will specifically just be there for wings.
Go. I'm the first guy to go to a strip club to go.
Josh is going to be the guy that picks up a Playboy magazine just for their life articles.
Yes.
It's
I want advice. That is why I pick up
titties right there, but Josh is going to look straight at the wings in the kitchen section. Believe it.
5 ways to please your women.
Hey, listen, you're just like Pete Alonso. Believe, but also know that I'm only going there for
that's it. I'm only going to Magic City for the chicken wings. That's it. To go.
Oh,
I'm calling in. I'm calling in to go.
Any summer league stuff that's caught your attention?
I haven't really watched much. Quentin Grimes hit his first 3. I got really excited. Then he missed his next 5 shots, so I kind of calmed down a little bit.
That's the trappings of summer league, man. It's like
one good game and people were like, "Oh, I got league." I got Kevin Knox for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, summer league that's the trappings of summer league, man. These kids play well in these situations, and you're like, "Oh shit!" And then it's like, it's summer league, and they are
Kevin Knox, man.
Kevin Knox, they're like 17 years old.
Kevin Knox was the next Kevin Durant. He was the next Kevin Durant for sure.
He was going to, yeah. So I heard. I like Kuminga though.
Do you? I haven't seen him play.
I like Kuminga a lot.
Good. I'm happy.
He's still like a claymation of what he can be, but he's going to the right organization if they develop him and let him just be. Listen, the Warriors between Moses Moody, Kuminga, and obviously they've got Wiseman there. They've got young pieces for the future too, and then they're still good now. And then obviously Clay's the ultimate X factor. Yeah, I think the Warriors are going to be back next year.
I do too, man.
And all that shit about the dynasty's dead and buried and ha ha ha.
I like the Otto Porter pickup, man. I know I said that before, but I really do. I think he's play
Otto Porter's a good pickup.
Yeah,
Otto Porter. Jalen Green has been playing well at summer league. Cade had a good debut. 12 points, 6 rebounds. Nice. Scotty Barnes looks really good. Jalen Suggs played well. I mean, your usual suspects.
Yeah.
I don't think you've seen anything like, oh my God, from summer league that is really kind of like, there's no Kyle Kuzma's just coming out of nowhere to just completely taking over summer league. So,
LiAngelo Ball, 16 points.
LiAngelo played well. That was something. So, yeah. All right, let's move on to our last big topic of the day. Well, I was going to talk about Cuomo, but I just don't have any energy to talk about that.
Just one thing about Cuomo. Please just get him out of office. Can we please just get him out of office?
Josh, he only touches people because he's Italian. Come on,
I cannot.
Stop it.
It is embarrassing as a
Josh,
New Yorker.
you're being I'm going to cut you off, Josh. I'm going to cut you off, okay? Because that's unfair.
It's
to the great that listen, that is unfair, okay? Because Governor Cuomo was an angel sent from heaven during COVID.
Who are these people who think this?
Who helped us get through the darkest days this country has ever faced during the lockdown last year.
The way CNN built him up to be the superhero was the most annoying thing ever. This is the biggest POS. And I cannot stand him.
The fact that this man won an Emmy
is ridiculous.
And wrote a fucking book, got $1 million book deal, as he's literally letting old people die
Yes.
in seniors, and that's the part that isn't even getting talked about enough. That part, that's more egregious than touch. No offense to women out there, obviously, no, I'm just saying.
People are,
but
he should be in jail.
Yeah.
This man should be in jail. I screw like not governor of New York. The man should be in jail for multiple reasons. The man, he's horrible. He's disgusting. And because of people like him, and because of politicians like him, like I have to defend myself. Like, yeah, I vote Democrat. You know what I mean? Like he's exactly what like I hate him. I hate him.
This is why people hate left, right, partisan shit, because it's like Democrats, they couldn't stand Kavanaugh. They couldn't stand Trump.
You're right.
And you literally have Andrew Cuomo roaming around your municipal halls there.
I'll say this though: we have people in Congress, and we have even President Joe Biden who's calling for him to resign.
Now, Biden didn't at first. Now,
but that's the Democratic Party. Democratic Party reminds me of like the kid in homeroom who like doesn't do his homework and he does it like really freaking quick before the teacher comes and collects it. Then he gets like a D on it. Like he does it enough where he doesn't fail, but they do it enough, but they don't do a good job on it. Like that to me is the Democratic Party. They do it at everything. They do it with social justice. They do it with any type of law. They did it with the eviction thing we're about to talk about. It's always like at the last minute, the least you can do, that they do it. That's what the Democratic Party is to me. I mean, but I'll say this, at least, and they have people like me, like, at least they did it. At least they did it.
And you have people like me that like, no, we shouldn't be celebrating that at least they did it. We should be celebrating. No, I know you're not, but I'm just saying like, we shouldn't. No, we need to stop that. Like,
it's disgusting.
It's
disgusting. The man should be in jail.
But no, he only touched women because that's how Italians.
He's disgusting.
That's what they do. They just touch people. You know what I'm gonna talk about, right? That was his.
That together should be fired.
Yeah,
should be fired.
Yeah,
and forced to eat chocolate. Dog shit. I don't know why I said chocolate. Like it's a bad thing. You should
right. Dog shit.
Like that kid from Matilda, Bruce, who ate the chocolate cake.
No, man. Like yo, the Cuomo thing is just like, how tone deaf can you be? It's
unbelievable. Like you would think these people have PR teams that are like, especially with Cuomo, because Cuomo is going to be a PR nightmare. Basically.
Listen, who had a worse week, the baby or Andrew Cuomo?
The baby. Because Cuomo's not going to jail for crimes that he committed. The baby just said some homophobic crap, and that was
just
like
idiotic.
He's suffering the consequences of his actions.
And it's like here's a lesson, kids who may watch this show. Here's a lesson, right? You know, it's like if first of all, if you do something wrong, just take accountability, apologize, you know, take a couple photo ops and move on. You're better off just handling it at the beginning instead of letting it play out. Come on, baby. Like seriously, like he is writing a book of what not to do when you're a public figure when it comes to saying something stupid and homophobic. Not apologizing, then the apology being half-assed, then you losing a bunch of endorsements and money and performances and all that other shit, and then just looking like a complete idiot. It's fine.
His music sucks, so I don't care. Just be honest with you, like he's terrible. So like whatever.
Oh my god. Listen, I think he can rap, but his music's not that great. His music is very hit or miss for me.
Listen, if the beats on the songs that I've heard sound like they were made in Fruity Loops in 5 minutes, and that
he has a very repetitive flow.
Yes.
There's not much. He has a very repetitive flow, and the problem I have with the baby is he sounds the same on every song. Like literally sounds the same. And he has the same little. Like he just.
I haven't listened to rap in like 15 years. Because of people like I'm serious. Like once mumble rap, honestly, I'll be honest with you, I know a lot of people don't like this opinion, but Lil Wayne ruined rap for me.
Did he?
Stupid metaphor. And then like it was downhill from there. Like it really was. Like, I can't do it. For 15 years with Lil Wayne just like this motherfucker literally cited the alphabet in one of his rhymes, and me and my boy Quab, my best friend in college, I would stand next to two girls who heard him sing the alphabet and go, "Oh my god, like he's so good, like he's just so creative." It's like he just fucking rhymed the alphabet. Ruined rap for me, ruined it. I know you're laughing, but I used to
Oh my
love rap.
god. He's an alien. You know, Josh.
No, he is.
He's an alien. He's
Absolutely.
an alien.
This
He's an
break.
alien. Damn, how do we get to the baby and Lil Wayne ruining?
I have no
We
idea.
went a far left. Listen, Andrew Cuomo's a pervert. He should be in
Yes.
jail. That
Yes.
goes without saying. I was going to talk about Biden finally coming to his senses with the eviction moratorium. Thank God. Jesus Christ. The fact that this. But listen,
Manny,
I don't want to.
I thought he couldn't do anything though.
Yeah, no, you're right. He couldn't. Poor guy. He couldn't. Jesus. He had to stay. He had to finish watching his reruns of Matlock, and then, only then, at the final moment, Corey. He looked out. He saw Corey Bush. He's like, "Okay, let's do something."
Okay,
guys.
fine.
That's fine. Let's get this black lady off the street, please. Let's go. Before they arrest her. Before they arrest her or shoot her, and then we have to put out a statement. Let's just do something.
Oh man,
don't you know Capitol Police? They're all just racist rednecks anyway. But
let's be serious here though. Like, why did it have to come to this? Why did it have to come to the last day? Like,
this administration. It's Joe Biden. Like, why are we acting surprised? This is Joe Biden's career.
It's also like Pelosi. It's also Manchin. It's also like conservative Democrats in the House. I mean, Congress could have done something about it too.
Yes, it did not even need to go to a deadline. It didn't even need to go to this point. It should have been done months ago. We're still in a pandemic. I know people like to act like it's summertime and everybody's out partying, me included. Like everybody likes to act like it's over. No, we're still in a pandemic. This is still here. It hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah, people are still hurting.
People are still hurting. The economy is still not recovered all the way yet. Like we're still suffering the ills of this. So this idea that like, oh, we're just we're done. Like, I think we still need another round of stimulus checks. Like, we still need a bunch of things. Like, I'm still waiting for $2,000 checks that Democrats were going to put in everybody's hands. But let me not bring up old wounds.
Me about this. One is that to kick the can down the road till October. So you're going to tell me Congress, which is taking like 7 weeks off, aren't they? Like they're about to go on recess for a little bit.
Yeah,
Congress going on recess has till October 3rd to figure this out. So one that kind of concerns me because now we're going to be the same thing all over again with people being threatened to be kicked out of their homes. And then two, like there has to be some type of rent forgiveness set up with all this type of stuff because a lot of people foregone their rent because they weren't making money. They lost their jobs, weren't able to pay rent, weren't able to put food on the table. And now they're going to have to owe back pay to whatever rent payments they missed out. And a lot of people, especially low income people, are not going to be able to do that. So on top of getting kicked out of their houses, if this thing does not hold up, they're also going to have to owe back pay on rent, which is a really scary thought. So for me, I mean, I'm glad I got to stop using that word glad because I'm not glad, but it's a good thing. Even that is stupid that Biden stepped in and whatever extended it. But at the same time, it's just kicking the can down the road and really nothing has gotten done.
It's typical Washington grandstanding. Yeah. It's like they're just kicking. They're experts at just kicking the can down the road and just letting it keep being a thing instead of actually sitting down, rolling their sleeves up and fixing the issues, fixing the problem. They don't want to fix the problem because they don't know how to, and they don't care to. They don't care because it doesn't affect them. Didn't you know Nancy Pelosi's got all her freshly imported ice cream that she just stocks up in her freezer and she doesn't give a shit. Like she's so, oh God, I can't stand her. God, I just like literally. I'm sorry, this may sound crass and terrible and rude, especially in the culture and climate that we live in. But I've never met a woman that I wanted to punch more than Nancy Pelosi. I'm sorry. I can't.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I can't stand that woman, man. I really cannot stand that woman. Like literally, she comes on my TV screen and I literally just get ill.
She makes me sick too. I don't have the urge to punch her in the face, but
I'm not going to punch her, and I don't want to punch women. I'm just saying.
I know, but it's just. I mean, to me, Biden. I think if we're going to rank what people at fault here, I think it's Biden. Obviously, I think if you're the president of the United States, like you have to know that this is coming up and there's something to do about it. It seemed like when you don't want to bring something up and you kind of stay quiet about it and you hope that it passes by. That's what it seemed like was going to happen. Shout out to Corey Bush because without Corey Bush, none of this would have happened. So gratitude there for any. I think this is what people want to see from the squad. I think a lot of people have been critical of the squad and rightfully so. And I think that they're kind of starting to turn the corner, especially with the way they're handling the infrastructure bill of like being what we want them to be. So to me, this was a good moment for the squad. This was a good moment for progressives. And hopefully they can carry that momentum in the infrastructure bill. So I'm excited about that because I think we all been kind of waiting for that. But yeah, like Nancy Pelosi and conservative Democrats, man. I mean, we have the House. There should be no reason whatsoever why the House couldn't come up with something here to push
Well,
it to the Senate for pressure.
much of the consternation is like people are bringing up the landlords and the effect that this has had on the landlords, and now the landlords are going to be put in a precarious situation because they're still not getting money for however many. But it's like
Right.
people are not. These landlords need to understand that everybody went through the same thing. Yes, you have to pay your bills because you're a landlord and you have bills to pay. You're using this property, whatever it may be, house, rent, apartment building, whatever, to subsidize your income. This is your business just as much. But if people that are in your properties can't afford to pay you, okay, you put these people out, then what? Okay, what do you
You're not getting your money.
you're not getting your money. This is what these people don't understand. You're not getting your money. Okay, you'll find another group of renters that may want to rent. Great. So you can, because the belief is that, okay, Josh and Manny are staying in apartments that aren't being paid for because of COVID and the eviction moratorium, yada, yada, yada. Okay, you kick us out and you bring two yuppies or yahoos, whatever, in here. And then what happens? The pandemic gets worse. We go through another lockdown. Then guess what? Oh, shit, we're back to the same thing all over again.
Right.
It's just like it doesn't, the reasoning behind it is so stupid. It's just like it doesn't even make sense to me. But again, it's
all
just
this all would have been prevented that when the start of the pandemic, the government just paid people to stay home, and like this all could have just
like
been
Canada.
avoided. Yeah,
But
this
you know,
all could have
God
been
forbid.
avoided.
But no, socialism is bad, Josh. You know, it's we don't want to be Cuba, God forbid. So yeah, it's just it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because it's like everybody knows that this is the right thing to do, but yet we're finding reasons and arguments to not do it.
But like, I actually don't know the answer to this question. I think you do. I'm not smart enough. Maybe viewers can help us out in the comments. But like, where's the money go? Like, there's obviously some money that is being like, I wouldn't say dark money. Maybe that's the word. But like, there's a reason. Like, what lobbyists are in these guys' pockets? Like the mansion pockets in cinema, where it's just kind of like, no, we can't do this. Is that real estate? Is that like, what is that?
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's lobbyists everywhere, man. You can't listen.
Yeah.
That's the thing about DC, man. There's so many fucking lobbyists everywhere. Like, there's lobbyists littered all over that town, man. So, like, there's lobbyists. There's big pharma lobbyists, obviously. There's the defense contractors. There's real estate. You don't think real estate got lobbies? These motherfuckers.
That's what
got
I'm saying.
lobbies
It's probably some
everywhere.
type of real estate lobby where it's just kind of like, yeah.
And then there's also the thing of like, oh, people living off the government, the you know, what's the term that they use for it? The freeloaders and things like
Yeah, the
nature, like
welfare state.
the welfare state, right? Like, so
Yeah.
there's that aspect of it too. Don't disregard that. There's a lot of people that feel like, God forbid, we give people extra money and unemployment, they will never come back to work, or
Yeah,
God forbid that we give people an eviction moratorium,
not
they'll never leave.
That's not what we stand for as left-leaning people. Like, we elected people in the House to not think that way, to make decisions not thinking that way. We elected a president to not think that way.
It's dark money, man. It's dark money. That's my thesis to everything. It's dark money and it's influence. It's the influence and dark money, and they go hand in hand. They're symbiotic, and you know, it's like these things.
There's no conscious reason to leave people homeless. It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Just like there's no reason to not have healthcare, but why don't we have healthcare, socialized healthcare in this country?
Right. Lobbyist.
Dark money, lobbyist.
Yeah. Private and privatization of an industry that should be privatized.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all those things, but pretty much lobbyists and money. It's essentially what it all comes down to. And that's the frustrating part. And it's like, it's just, and like you said, it's just a repeating cycle, because again, they're going to kick the can down, and then in October they're going to kick the can down to January. Watch, they'll kick the can down to January, and there's just nothing gets done. And all the while, people are hurting, people are suffering, and the Biden administration has done nothing. They've done nothing. Like, let's be honest, they've done nothing. Biden's been in office now 6-7 months. He's done nothing. He's done nothing. He can't get this infrastructure bill passed. He's too much with the bipartisan and trying to get Kristen Sinema and the Joe Manchins on board. Like, just stop it already. You have a majority in the Senate. You have a majority in the House. Like, get things done. You're not going to have a better opportunity to get stuff done than now. You're still quabbling, and you're still quibbling about the freaking the student loans thing. Like, you haven't even gotten that done. Like,
he kicked that can down the road too.
Exactly. And the most galling thing of it all is watching Bernie try to defend it, because Bernie's trying to play nice because he's the budget chair. He's the head of the budget committee.
And I think,
like,
not to defend the squad, but I think that's what they were doing in the beginning, and I think that's starting to turn a little bit because you start
Let's
realizing like 2022 is right around the corner, man. And
I'm
to,
glad you brought that up.
yeah,
The Democrats are going to get their asses handed to them in
yes,
2022.
I agree.
Watch.
I
A
know.
lot of this is also these back to brunch liberals. They're done because the big bad villain Trump is
Not
gone,
going to vote.
and it's not going to vote. And another thing is Biden has done nothing. He's done nothing. He's at best stabilized, if that.
I wouldn't say he did nothing. I mean, the stimulus thing was okay. I mean, the child tax credit was I think a big thing. I
The
think
best thing he's done is the child. The best thing he's done is the child. Not to cut you off. The best thing he's
yeah,
done is the child tax credit in Afghanistan. In my book,
yeah.
child tax
That was
credit in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
I'm not gonna give him the stimulus check because they blew that because
Right.
remember 2000 all of a sudden became 1400. Well, no, it's 40. No. Sorry, we meant 14 and 600. No,
Right.
that's not
No,
that's
I'm
not
with
what
you
you
on
meant.
that. I'm
They
with you
blew
that. And
that.
I'm not trying to defend Biden, but like to me, it's like, yeah, you're right. I'm actually agreeing with you here. Like he's done. I think he got off to what I thought was kind of like a start where I was like, oh, he's a little more left than I thought he'd be. But it's come back to the center very quickly, and I'm not really happy about that.
Then like some of the decisions with the Senate parliamentarian and leaving it up
Yeah.
to that, it's just terrible decisions. I just and then Kamala, you heard about the stuff that Kamala's like unlike like the worst, the most least popular vice president in
Yeah,
history,
I saw
and
that. Yeah.
she's just awful. She's terrible.
Which is
She's
actually very
been
concerning
bad.
for 2024 because that's who they want to hand the ball off to.
You can't.
I
I'm
know.
telling you right now, they cannot run her against DeSantis in 2024. She's going to lose. She's going
Yeah,
to lose.
I agree.
Like she's going to lose against DeSantis. She's going to lose against Trump. She might lose against any Republican, honestly. That's how bad she is.
But that to me, like that should be like that should sound insane that Ron DeSantis can be president of the United States.
But this is the thing that I always bring up. It's like again, it's not enough to just be better than bad. It's not enough
But people
anymore.
in this country shouldn't be voting for bad. That's my point. Like I
They shouldn't.
understand. I understand, and I know this makes me sound like a Democratic shill or whatever. Whatever. To me, like there is one. I have a chicken thing. There is one. There is one.
When I talk about Kamala, it makes me eat chicken fingers. It's okay.
There is one party in this government that is absolutely reprehensible and on the obviously on the wrong side of history with everything, and that's
It's the Libertarians. Oh, sorry, never mind.
it's the Republican Party. I'm sorry. So although I don't like the Democratic Party, listen, everyone listening who's new to the show, I don't like the Democratic Party. I don't. But if there's anyone who represents like, well, lesser of two evils, it has become me because to me the other option's so bad that I can't fathom how anyone with cognitive ability to follow logic about vote for them. Like it's unforgivable for me to that people even go to the voting booth and vote for them. Like that's how low I think of them, and how like we can rag on Kamala all we want about how she shouldn't be able to lose to a Republican, but like who are these people voting for Republicans at this point? Like it's fucking crazy to me. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong, but then
To
again,
me, that's the bigger problem than Kamala, even though that is a problem.
I think they're both a problem. Just one's worse. One's cancer, one's diabetes. You just got to pick and choose what you you want to poke yourself, or do you just want to go through chemo? Like it's just that's literally what you have to choose from, and it sucks. And I'm in the camp of fuck lesser of two evils. Let's fix the problem. Let's address the systemic issues that continuously leave us in this same rut.
I'm with that. But to me, the
even
do that is to push the Democratic Party left because they're the only party that we can actually make change in.
But then again, it's hard to push the Democratic Party left when you find out that the establishment has so much part, i.e. Nina Turner. I mean, the fact that stiff beat Nina last week, that's another. I just had a shitty week. Mets, Nina Turner, that's just an awful fucking week. Just awful. Yeah, no, listen. Listen, we've had this conversation on the show many times. We both know where we stand, and listeners who have been following us from day one, they know where we stand. Obviously, for the new folks, hopefully you guys got a good glimpse of where we stand. Listen, we both want the same things. You have a little bit more of a pragmatic approach to it. I'm not even saying I don't have a pragmatic approach to it, but I'm just like I'm I get it. I get when people will say like, look,
Yeah,
what is the Democratic Party exactly doing to earn any
I
high
get it too.
merit here?
I get it too.
I mean,
I always said that. I understand someone who doesn't vote. I totally get it. I know a lot of people like, well, you should vote because people fought for it. It's like, yeah, but people also fought for the decision to vote or not to vote, and people have to earn your vote. I don't think anyone's entitled to your vote, and I don't think the
that's
Democratic
my
Party
point.
does a good job of convincing people to vote for them. So I do agree with you on that
No.
aspect.
What did the Democratic Party do to convince black people? They basically just said, "Hey, well, we're not Trump."
$2,000. $2,000.
Right. And
They
then
gave
all of
me
a sudden,
14.
then all of a sudden, their math was wrong. All of a sudden, they ran out of calculators. It's a chip shortage. Remember, the calculators were not. No, it's just frustrating, man, because it's like so many people know what the best thing to do is, and they just refuse to do it because for obvious reasons, and that's just the frustrating part. So,
Yeah.
um, what's your thought in today's episode of The Left Eating the Left? What's your thoughts on? I don't even know if you follow Tim Black. Do you follow Tim Black at all?
No. What
Yeah,
happened?
Tim Black had this like I wish
On
you could
Twitter?
find it.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, just you could Google it on Twitter, but he just had this like very weird and odd issue with Brianna Joy Gray, and he just went off the deep end with her, like, oh,
What did he
she's
say?
basically kind of in layman's terms, she's phony, she's fake, you the reason why Nina Turner lost, and yada yada yada. You were in Ohio visiting family instead of like not helping Nina Turner win, because of course it was Brianna Joy Gray that caused Nina Turner not to win, not the Democratic establishment pouring millions of dollars into Shoshana Brown. Or no, it was Nina Turner. It was Brianna Joy Gray. But it just kind of came out of left field, though. That's the part that it was so weird about it. It was just like it just kind of look it up. We probably don't have time to talk about it or go through it here, but
I'm seeing it now. I see the video for it. I haven't listened to it. I mean, just based off of what you told me, if he's blaming Brianna Joy Gray for Nina Turner's loss, that's idiotic.
but that's
listen,
basically summarizing it. It's just like he's blaming, but he's not offering any substantive criticism. He's just kind of like, yeah, you didn't like her, so and you didn't return her text message in the group chat, so that's why she like what? What are you talking about, dude? Like,
to me, there are two reasons why she lost. I think the first one's really obvious: is the money that was pumped in for Brown, pretty much outspending Nina Turner. But I also think that, and this is something I don't think you agree with, but this is something I say a lot, where I don't think the left is as popular as you say it is, or people think it is. I don't think our ideas are as popular. I don't think it hits as much as we think it does. I think when people hear Medicare for all, it makes sense to us, and it's a slam dunk. But a lot of people are just like, no, I kind of like my health insurance, or I don't mind a public option, or I don't think Nina's message was, getting through to people, and I don't think the progressive message is getting through with people. But I will rebut myself and say that it doesn't surprise me that people were turned off by Nina Turner, because even though this is going to sound weird because her opponent was black, but Nina Turner gives off angry black women vibes. And I think a lot of people were turned off by that.
She's scared. They scare her. She scares a lot of people.
Yeah. To me, I think she's powerful. I think she's incredibly well-spoken and driven and ambitious. And I freaking love her for that. But I think a lot of people looked at that and, you know what I mean? Kind of fell back. I don't know if I want all this. She's kind of seems unhinged.
She seems unhinged.
Yeah.
Listen,
and it's a weird thing saying that because her
no,
it's black, so it's like you can't say it's racism.
not a weird thing, but
Yeah.
Racism is a complex thing.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really annoys me with racism is that we want to look at it from this this catch-all, right? Like all things fit into this racism box, when racism is such a multifaceted, multi-layered thing that we'd be here all day discussing the different layers and aspects of it. There's black on white racism, there's black on black racism, there's colorism. That's racism in that of itself. Like she's a dark-skinned black woman, angry. She's loud,
forceful,
she gets her point. Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people
that scares a lot of white people. And I bring up the skin color aspect because these things are they're valid. Like, this is not a game. There's a reason why light-skinned black people seem more approachable and more palpable for certain sectors of society, and it's just real. And this is what we do on this show. We keep it real. Like, this is it's real. And Do I think that that was the reason? No.
No,
Her
but I think
skin color? No, but I think
no,
it played into a role. I think you're absolutely right. I think that there is a lot of white people. I think these back to brunch liberals that are like, we went more off the Kamala type,
right,
where she's going to wear Versace suits and just be you know fluffy and approachable. Even though
right,
Kamala is a shitty human being and a shitty person, and she
right,
treats her staff like shit. If you read the reports, but they just find her a little bit more palpable, and her story is more palpable.
right.
You know, it, yeah.
So I mean, to me, like that's the one thing that like I've noticed with Nina, especially being on Twitter, you kind of just realize what people are saying, and it's like, are you saying that because you don't like her message? Because her message, like she in all her tweets and everything's laid out clearly what she stands for. And I'm reading these things, and I'm like, whether you are a right populist, left populist, like Democrat, Republican, like there's no way you can't be for these certain, like these things are just like no brainer type things. Like everyone should have healthcare, housing, like rights. Like I'll find something right now that I can show you, but it's just like, and then you hear her talk, and then you see people commenting on like the way she's acting, and like just using words like loud and just obnoxious, or just like you coded
Coded
words.
coded
Yeah,
words that we all know what they
yeah.
are. It's like, she's a loud black
Like,
woman. Like,
yeah,
it's
it's
coded.
just like,
Like, we
yeah,
know what
it
we
doesn't
know what you're saying. Like
it doesn't feel right, and it's hard to accuse someone of being racist, because in order for you to prove it, like they have to say something A, racist, or B, you have to find like you got to use reasoning to be like, all right, because they said
and
this
even
under this circumstance, it's probably this. It's hard to
and
prove,
even
but like,
and even because and just because it may not be racist, but it's racially insensitive. So, which
right.
is in the same vein. So
So I don't
it's
know.
yeah,
I kind of got that vibe. I
it's
like
disappointing with Nina, man. It's disappointing because it's like we really felt like she had it there. It
I
was
thought
there
she was
for
gonna
her to
win.
get.
I
I
thought
thought
she
she
was
was
gonna
going to
win.
win too. The polls showed that she had a really good shot at winning. But you really can't underestimate. And that's the other thing. The other lesson that I think this is where I disagree with you. I think the policies are popular. We can differ on how popular, how palpable they really are, but I think that
Yeah,
the policies are popular. I think it's the messenger, and I think that you can't underestimate the power of the establishment. The establishment, when they want to win this shit, and I know people are bringing up, who Nina picked to head her campaign and all that stuff, strategic stuff that she did and things of that nature. Listen, we can debate that all day till the cows come home. Strategic stuff. No one's gonna get into the weeds of that. Yeah, could strategically she could have did some different things. Whatever, sure. Any election you can look back from a strategic standpoint and say, okay, we could have done this better, we could have did this better, we could have put this better, we could have did that better. That being said, man, I think you cannot ignore that the establishment is just powerful, man. And when they want
so
to win they want to win an election, and they have all the resources at their disposal, and Shanola Brown is competent enough to win an election.
but then why? But my thing is, it works both ways, right? Like, how come the establishment couldn't stop someone like Trump? Well, it's because Trump's message, whatever the fuck it was, resonated with his whole party. What I'm saying is that for some reason, our message as progressives does not resonate with the Democratic Party.
But the other thing about it, and you're right, the one thing you're right about in that summation is that the message isn't resonating, and it's not resonating is because the left is too divided.
Just
That's the
well,
problem. We don't
that's
have
what
a
I tried.
united You don't have a united front. I mean, I brought up the Tim Black and Breonna Joy Gray thing. We talked about it with Jimmy Dore in that video
Right.
a month ago now. But the left is too divided. We don't have a united front on the left
Right.
where it's a consistent message, it's a consistent party, there's consistent faces, and we're all in sync. Not saying we agree with everything, but it's a united front. We are left. We are we are progressives through and through. It's like, no, there's Jimmy Dore progressives, there's Vanguard progressives or whatever. Like there's just like there's so
Right.
many different pockets, and then you have like extreme, democratic socialists, and you have this like smorgasbords and an
Different races,
amalgamation of
different
people.
religions, different genders,
Right,
just different
right, and they're not a
sexualities.
monolith, and they all have
Right.
their own agendas and different
Right.
they're different motivators that drive them, and so these things are true to all this stuff. So yeah, I think the left is too divided right now, and we're not going to
It's
truly win powerful seats in Congress or in this government until we finally find a unit. And I know people will get weirded out because you brought up the media, but the media on the left is a big part of it. The left media is divided, which feeds into the voters and feeds
Yeah.
into even the politicians. That it's just a divided effort on the left, and we don't choose the right fights to fight on the left either.
We fight over stupid shit, like minuscule,
Dumb shit.
like
That's what we fight
tedious
over.
bullshit.
That is not going to solve anything.
Yeah.
But hey, Kyle Kalinske and Jimmy Dore versus Aaron Mate versus TYT in a street fight. Hell in a, like, why? Why are we having this when we have an eviction moratorium that's coming up that we're not getting?
Right.
We have a Medicare for all debate that's still ongoing. Like, we have all these things, important substantives. We have Afghanistan. We have all these things that are going on. They're in the sphere of the news, and they're kind of being pushed in the back burner because we're mad that somebody said something stupid and now we want to cancel this person, or we want to do this, or we want to do that. It's so stupid. It's infuriating. So I love being a part of the left community. It's weird to say that, but it's frustrating because and I say this on every show. I'm going on the Vanguard this week again, and
nice.
I'm going to say it again. It's just like, again, until we get our shit together on the left, we're not going to win big. We'll have the Corey Bushes of the world. We'll have the great stories and the great upsets and the great wins that come out of nowhere. But a whole movement, you're not going to get it until we get our shit in line.
We start cheering for each other.
Yes.
Whatever victories. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because, there was one predominant lefty YouTuber who didn't comment on Corey Bush doing what she did. I can leave up to you to guess who.
Yes.
I mean, he didn't say anything. I wonder why.
Oh, Jimmy!
I just did everything you said not to do.
and then he turned on the Vanguard. I know you were saying that he turned on them. Remember? Yeah, I remember. I was going to send you that video.
I didn't watch that.
He turned on them.
Why?
Because they didn't defend him enough when it came to the whole.
My point.
Exactly. Oh no, their interview with Ryan Grimm, because they had Ryan Grimm on there, and
it's literally my point. Literally my point in the video. I use Kyle Kalinske as the example. Like, literally my point. Didn't defend him enough. Like, what is his problem? Like, what is you are literally indistinguishable between a Tim Pool and a crazy right wing nut. Go on his YouTube page. I'll say to anybody who disagrees with me, go on Jimmy Dore's YouTube page right now and look at his most recent videos and tell me who he's blasting, who he's criticizing, and who he's trying to embarrass. All left-leaning people, whether you like it or not. Or our version of the left, of people in the YouTube comments who said, I don't know what the left is. I know what the left is. Okay, relax. But it's true. Like and then when we have victories like Corey Bush, yes, I get it's kicking the can down the road. Yes, I get it's not good enough. Where is he celebrating that? Where is he giving props?
Yeah, listen,
he's silent.
Not to rehash an old argument, but no, yeah. I get it, man. I get it. Jimmy Dore has a lot of issues that I'm on board with him on. I don't like his approach at times. I'll be the first to admit I don't like his approach a lot. No, at times, a lot of times I don't like his approach. I think he has the maturity of a 5-year-old sometimes when it comes to these things. He's very petulant. Not sometimes, a lot of times, most of the times, every time. And I don't care about Jimmy Dore one way or another. I just think, again, on certain things, but that also goes to the unifying thing. It's like on certain things, Jimmy Dore's right on. We need to unite on. Yeah. And listen, treat him with kid gloves. Stand at a distance.
Unify. That's the problem. Like, he agrees. Jimmy Dore's on our side with the eviction problem, right? There's no doubt in my mind. But when Corey Bush protests and he does everything you've been criticizing the squad for not doing, and she does it, and you're silent on it, and you don't even comment on it, and you still want to rip AOC in the squad for some frivolous bullshit, like, what am I?
Well, then that tells you that he's a leftist, but he's also a Medialite, and he's trying to sell views, and he's trying to get ratings, essentially. And what gets ratings? Shitting on the squad.
I get it. Listen, I get it, and I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the problem is solved. I know it's not solved. Obviously, kick the can down the road. We can be talking in October about how Corey Bush and the squad didn't fight hard enough in October. I'm well aware of that. All I'm saying is that if you really want change to happen, when people are trying their best and when we have people in Congress trying to do things to make change, celebrate that. Period. And give them
And
props.
two things can be correct. The squad didn't do enough on Medicare
Yes.
for all and forced to vote, and they did
Right.
enough, and they did just enough here to get this at least kick the can down the road. Two things can be
1000%.
accurate.
And two things can be
And
correct.
you can kill them for one thing and
Yep.
celebrate them for the other. We
Two
don't
things
have
can
the
be true.
ability to multitask.
Yes. Two things can be true. You can hate the Democratic Party, and you can also say, you know what? Okay, finally they did something here. You can hate the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, and you can say, okay, this was a nice step in the right direction. You can do both. It's very possible.
I'm with you, man.
I always point to him because he's one of the first YouTubers that I started watching, but Kyle Klinsky does it beautifully. He does. I don't always agree with Kyle Klinsky on everything, but he is someone who
You're not going to agree with everybody.
he has.
Me and you don't agree with everything.
He has
It's
his principles,
okay.
and he sticks with his principles, and he gives credit where credit's due, and he gives criticism where criticism is deserved.
Yeah,
I'm not
That's
against.
it.
Yeah, period.
That's it, man. All right, we're gonna get up out of here.
Holla.
It's a long show. A lot of Mets, a lot of Cuomo, free agency. We did a good mix there. Good
Yeah, man.
smorgasbord of stuff.
Good stuff. Good
You
stuff.
know, yeah. Tell the listeners, YouTube audience, everything where they can find you, what you got working on, what you got coming up, things you're working on, that sort of thing. Before we get up out of here.
Yeah, you can follow my NBA podcast, The Dime with Josh Rodriguez, at The Dime NBA on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Josh Rodriguez at Josh_Rodriguez_ right there. You can follow me on all social media platforms. Yeah, as of right now, things are pretty quiet because there's our off season in sports, but pretty soon I'll be able to announce a few things. So we'll wait for that.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, you guys know me, the Emmanuel Brown, Manny Brown. You can find me on Twitter right there or right there, whatever. Where my name is at the Emmanuel Brown on Twitter, at the Emmanuel Brown on Instagram, Emmanuel Brown on Facebook, all that good stuff. Of course, if you like what we're doing, if you like what we're trying to do here on any given Sunday, support us. Obviously, subscribe, like our page, subscribe, all that good stuff. Subscribe to the video, subscribe to the podcast. We're available on all platforms: Apple, Google, Spotify, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Go follow us on Twitter at AGS Pod, on Instagram AGS Podcast, also on Facebook. Any given Sunday, drop us a like and a follow as well. Yeah, man, definitely thank you for the support. Keep supporting us. Drop a review. Let us know how we're doing. Comment on our videos on the comment section. Help us grow, man. I think we're really doing something special here, and if it's just a small community of folks that listen to us, great. But we want to grow. We want to expand that out. We want to get more people listening and watching and supporting us in any way, shape, or can. And I stress this, and I'll stress this again. I'll stress a couple things. But you're not always going to agree with our takes. We're not going to agree with where we're coming from, but trust that we're coming from a good place and that we really, really, really care not only about the issues, but this country and our people who look like us, and everybody, just everybody in general, but definitely people that look like us, and culturally, etc. We just want what's best for our people and America as a whole. So we may not always agree with our takes, and we may not agree with the comment section, but just believe that we are genuine about the shit that we're saying, and we believe that, and believe and just know, like Pete Alonso says. But no, seriously. And then of course the other thing is, thank you for all the support that we continue to get and receive each and every day, every email, every DM. I get a lot of DMs randomly. A lot of DMs, people telling us that we're doing a great job. Thank you so much, and thank you for supporting, listening, subscribing, all that good stuff. Without you guys, there is no show. So I say that every week. I'll continue to say it. Thank you for all the support that we get. It's truly, truly, truly appreciated. But yeah, go follow us on Twitter. Go follow us on Instagram, AGS Pod, AGS Podcast, any given Sunday on Facebook. And yeah, make sure you go subscribe to the podcast, and then also subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And yeah, that's it. We're done. We're out of here. Anything else before we get out of here, Josh?
Yeah, good to go, man. Good show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll be back not next Sunday, but the following Sunday with our last show of August. Like I said, we're going to do every other week for the month of August, just to give us a break. I know Josh got stuff working on. I'm working on stuff. So yeah, just to give us a little bit of a summer break in between shows. And then we'll be back hot and heavy starting September. When does the season start? Like September 10th?
Yeah, September 9th or something like that.
Time. So yeah, we'll be back for the NFL season, ready to rock and roll every Sunday. We're still trying to figure out the time we're gonna do this show on NFL Sunday just because obviously it's Sunday and we've got football games going on left and right. So we'll get into the particulars and deal with that when the time comes. But all right, I'm done blabbering. I am out of here. For Josh Rodriguez, I am Manny Brown. This has been Any Given Sunday, the Monday edition. We are out of here. Peace.